Hello everyone, welcome to another CPL 7 match of the week. I'm Nevline, joined by State Zero. The semi-finals action is continuing. We are going to continue today with DestrucToads versus Attitude Plus. State Zero, how you feeling about this match?
I mean, it's tier 3. You never know what's going to happen. I'm always feeling excited to watch some of the action, especially so close to the finals. Every game matters, and the score is so close right now.
Exactly. Tied up after the last cast. I don't know who caught that or not, but it was in EU time zone. But now it's 5-5 in this match, right? And like you say, every match counts. A tier 3 match is worth exactly the same as a tier 0 one. And yes, we will be casting all of the... Oh, that's the wrong team logos. Hang on, bear with me. But we will be casting all of the tier 3s for that semi-finals matchup today. So
well, this is something to just point out real quick, because it was mentioned at the very beginning of semifinals. Tier 3 did have one walkover, which we already accounted for in the score. So we're casting 4 games. If someone runs a table, they still don't win. They only get to 9. Remember, 10's that number to get you in the finals. So it's still going to be very exciting. Someone's going to be put into a very good spot or very exciting into the casting for this group.
Absolutely. All right, let's start up this game and see where it goes. In the top right, in the green, we have Ztemis. Now, I believe that's an AKA. What was the AKA?
I got it written down somewhere.
Peru.
Where is it?
It's
Peru.
Yes, here for Attitude Plus. And in the bottom left, in the purple, we have Insight, NCITE, not sure, in the purple for Attitude Plus.
I would go with Insight.
Sorry. Huh?
I would go with Insight. Makes sense. You know, cut out a vowel, try and look cool. You know how you make your names, right?
Yeah, I'll buy it. Yes, this is Attitude Plus versus DestrucToads. Nightcat, you caught me. I'll fix that in between. You got me.
Hey, we're not perfect here. We do the best we can. Just like these players are going to. Tier 3 play. It's not going to be the cleanest, but these games, it's not regular season. You're going to be trying the best you can, and I'm actually happy to not see any kind of crazy cheese to start us off. We've had plenty of that in the playoffs, which is always fun, but looking like we're going to get at least something normal looking.
Yeah, I think honestly a lot of these players are bringing more macro games than we might expect. Actually, if I remember the last playoffs were like cheese filled, especially the semi-finals. Actually, if I recall, not so much the grand finals, although they did have its moments. Now, I mean, we do have a 9 pool coming up here, but it's not with gas. So it's not necessarily going like, oh, I'm going to kill you, but you will get these 6 out and put some pressure on here. And if Protoss is sloppy, you will do a lot of damage. So we'll see what happens here. It does look like Protoss is saving up for a Nexus, or maybe the Probe is just pulled a bit late. Big ways, got a Forge going down right away.
Yeah, you got a long distance here, so you don't have to like put down the Forge as fast as possible, but we gotta make sure you see how many lings are made, how many cannons you need to, so hopefully not too greedy when this does finish. We'll see what ends up happening here for the Protoss player. Because this is one of those things, like, I like going for 9 pool here. I don't mind it at all. Like, yeah. If you stall proxy gates, you're in a great spot to fight off proxy gates. But realistically, this is tier 3. Let your opponent mess up. Like, give him that skill check. And we see lanes already made, cans haven't been started.
Yeah, this is a nice thing that, like, in tier 3, I wouldn't expect players to always pull off, but he saved the lava properly, right? And he's going to be rolling these 3 links, sending them. I love that he sent the drone scan as well. Really determined to see what's going on here. And I mean, you can try and harass the cannon. Okay, looks like he's going to keep going past. You can hit it a bit, maybe, if you want to do some damage to it. But look at this. I don't think Insight knows what's going on, because no cannon has started, and we see a Nexus go down. Like you're saying, Insight out to skill check Peru here. Saying, well, okay, do you know what to scout and what to prepare for? I'm going with a bit more aggressive build, getting the hatchery behind it, a very nice follow-up. Honestly, Insight's open and looking really strong now compared to Peru here. Peru not really scouting and responding. In fact, going as greedy as possible with the gateway as well. I'm not sure what triggered this, but they're going to be very disappointed when these lings arrive. And they
I think that probe by the ramp that didn't scout anything. Like, you're not making use of it. You're not like looking for very simple things here. These lanes, if they went in the main, this game's over. Already over. Well, you can go for all sorts of things. They're gonna work on this gateway, which
listen, if you lose the natural, the game's over anyway, right? Because this is a 4 pool, this is a 9 pool, so Zerg is totally happy to play 2 versus 1 base after this. And like, Protoss will lose the natural this way, because there's no way he's getting a cannon up here, right? He could still pull his probes down, try to fight. Looks like he's not going to do that. Constructing a pylon wall, but that's not going to be very effective against Zerglings, unfortunately. They will slip right through that, like water through a sieve. Or cancels the Nexus, probably a good move, and here they come.
Yeah, this is just as bad as it could possibly go, and hopefully this is the kind of game you only lose this way one time. You go, never again. I'm not. No, cannons forever. Maybe you oversteer, be a little too conservative, but this happens to everyone. You know, like it's the Protoss rite of passage. You gotta have this happen to you at least once.
Yeah, it's very educational, I imagine. Now, it's not the best Ling micro from Insight, but they are continuing to control it a little bit at home. They have a Hydra Den up, interestingly, on 2-hatch. So they're doing good enough micro with these Lings to stay ahead for sure. Picking off Probe here. They're just keeping them alive is the main thing, even if you're not killing anything. As long as Protoss fails to respond to the threat of them constantly, it's a huge advantage. I mean, look at Peru's economy. It's so bad right now.
Yeah, and honestly, this doesn't really get better, but I don't like the follow-up we're seeing from Insight. It's 2 hatchery Hydra, which you already knocked him to 1 base. If it ends up being, like, somehow you kill these Langs, cans on the ramp, Hydra's maybe not the way to go. I think you could be doing, like, a million other things here, but you know whatever ends up working. And look, there's a pylon in the Zerg main.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't like Peru's response. What about Insight's response? I mean, sorry, you don't like Insight's response. What about Peru's? Like, he's going to start cannon rushing?
Yeah, well, I think you have to, right? And you've been looking for this all season long, right? Like, how else do you win this game against Protoss other than shenanigans? Like, you have to at least go for something here, and we'll see what ends up happening. No cans are made by the ramp, so my thought of, like, well, Hydras might not be so good with the high, like, trying to work their way up the ramp like this.
He's not even making it's not... He's making mostly Lings anyway, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, if this cannon was on the ramp, I would say, like, you know, just one cannon would hold off, like, 4 Hydras almost, but okay, Gate going up against Zerg's main here, but does he have time? These Lings already working on this palm wall. Cannon does finish. They can hold off a few Lings at least, not in the best position for probe drills. There's a lot of Zerg coming across the map here.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is your Protoss, you're mentally, like, just ready for game 2. Like, not that we want to call it before it's over, but, like, this seems incredibly difficult to come back through at this point. Just too much disruptions happen.
That's just free money for the Zerg building that pylon right there. Does make those things into the cannon though. I want to say it was all planned. Oh look, and he is prepared to pull probes, so that's a good sign. Because if you can block the Lings from getting onto these cannons, you're going to need more than a single Hydra here. But will he pull in time? The Lings rolling up, and the probes are not pulled this time, so it looks like that cannon is going to go down very quickly. The other one warps in, gets a couple shots, but Lings will make short work of that as well. Now there's no defense for these probes. That one Hydra in the back. Gonna pretend it's the main show here, but really it's the Lings. Run, Hydra, run! Oh. Yeah, that's a runaway. But all the probes are falling. There's a Zealot queued at this gateway, but I highly doubt one Zealot is going to end this game. If 4 more Hydras come up, Hydra speed is done. That will put paid to the rest of the Protoss base. What will this Zealot do?
Well, it might go for some counterattack damage, which it'll just reveal the problem of, like, why haven't you left this game yet? But realistically, even if, like, if that kills every drone at the point, like, there's just, you're never going to survive the base trade here. So for us, unfortunately, I don't want to say, like, there's always a chance. There's not really a chance. So you can see that mini-map. There's just the fate coming. The end is near.
Well, the only chance is Insight leaving a 1 game, right? When he's not going to leave from seeing 1 Zealot in his base, I hope. Look at that, even following up with a lair, getting upgrades. He's got everything going on at home. Probably needs more drones, but nonetheless. I like that he's not just, like, you know, relaxing and stopping doing stuff because it looks like he's won. Now, I think Peru wanted to build the next over here, but he certainly couldn't afford it. He's building a pylon to prolong the game, building up these Zealots, presumably to strike all at once. Is that... Okay, I thought that Extractor would see this, but I guess Extractors can't see that far.
No, apparently I heard the Artosis mention the thing, and I like that we're seeing guys like, why haven't you left? There's something. It won't find that pylon, unfortunately, but it's just looking for other bases, something here. I think Artosis mentioned that the simulators for Protoss have more vision than the other extractor buildings. By like 1 or something. Of
course, it's simulated. Alright, these Zealots going to come in here, and they will get quite a few drones, but I think it's just a matter of Zerg bringing back their army here and cleaning this up. I mean, he would have to kill every drone, and then still he would lose the game. But he's hitting this lair here. Well, that's like the tankiest target in sight. Okay, this drone's going to run away. Well, I mean...
Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. Like, this isn't enough.
These Lings coming back, I guess, yeah, the land will survive. Yeah, none of it.
Yeah, like, if you killed it, maybe, but, like, look at the money. Insight could just make Aspire and be like, you know this game's over, right?
Yeah, like, I have to be honest, even if he killed the land. Unless he eliminated Zerg by killing every building, wouldn't make a difference, because he can't deal with this army. GG. That'll be 1 game there. 4 Insight.
Yeah, and we always do the benefit of the doubt that was a top for spotting game. So we're not going to say the no GG, the instant rage, but You know what? That kind of game, that goes as badly as you can possibly imagine it, right? So
Yes.
if you were a little bit mad and you didn't feel like saying GG, I could get it. I understand.
Absolutely. But you should know in CPL, if you know you're not going to leave a game for a while and it gets casted, that's on you. Let's jump into game 2.
Hey, honestly, like, regular season, preseason, you want to bear the shame, but if you're playing in playoffs, you better play. Play until, like, you know.
That's a good point, actually, yeah. Well, okay, we'll talk about that in a second. In the top right, in the blue, we have Peru. And in the bottom right, in the red, we have Insight, currently up 1 game in this best of 3. So yeah, about that, I suppose this is tier 3, right? So the player's not with the best understanding when the game might be over or not, so it makes sense to try attack with those zealots, for sure. Because yeah, I think you just don't know, really, what situation the game's in. Maybe you think Zerg has like a couple drones, has all those lings running around. Because honestly, even if it was just 4 Hydras, wow, it just started raining so loud at my location, I thought like a door was opening. Do people on stream hear that?
I cannot hear that through my Discord call. We had crazy weather over here as well, so maybe storm went halfway across the world. It's hitting you now.
Okay, well, it's not activating the microphone, so yeah, so good. Yeah, so we've visited Peru there. I think you know, he had like a good plan to be greedy. I don't mind that you just come into the game going like, all right, I'm going to be greedy and get like a good start. Now you get hard countered by Insight here. It looks like Insight not going for a 9 pull this time, but I wonder if we'll see Peru going blind forge to cannon this time. Because I expect tier 3 players, you know, they don't have the ability to scout like precisely and know when and what they need to scout, so he might just go super safe here, but it might work against him if Zerg is going for a more regular build. Oh, interesting, he did extract a trick anyway. Are you supposed to do that when you overpull? I thought it's slightly less economical than just not doing it. Oh, but he's not going overpull.
Yeah, I think it might be like a nice early hatchery, which I don't know if that's better for that either.
You're still not meant to
I always
do
thought it was
extract
9
trick.
pull mainly.
You're still not meant to do extract a trick, but whatever. It's fancy, I guess. The thing is, if you execute it like absolutely perfectly, it's only like 1% worse, so it's not like it really makes a difference. But if you screw it up, you're really screwing yourself up. But there you go, 12 hatch, very nice. I love this like combination of builds. First the 9 pull, then the 12 hatch. And look at that, we see a gas going up on 1 base, because Peru's thrown off, not sure what he's going to do here. Oh, no, not Peru, sorry. Oh, yes, Peru.
Yeah, Peru is the pro here now. I like this, even if it wasn't an adjustment to how well the 9 pool worked, just going for 12 hatch on the 4-player maps, because your opponent has to find you, and we saw in the first game, the pros micro didn't really inspire fear, where it's like, what if they do a gateway spam, what if they really get in my stuff? It's not really what we're looking for. Now, what I'm much more interested by is this gas before pool after the 12 hatch. That seems like especially greedy.
Ooh, well, it could be a mistake, but I'm trying to think. You can think is you can get speed right away and then layer at a reasonable follow-up time with this, but that does indicate to me that Zerg's not looking for a 3rd hatch. That said, this drone traveling down here, yeah, look, I think it may just be a build-on mistake. Same as Protoss with this gas. There's nothing Protoss can do with this gas. I think it was you who even said to me, like, you never get gas out of Cyber because there's literally nothing you can spend it on except like +1 up the Forge or something.
Yeah, like if you're not planning to like build the cyber like almost immediately after, it's like it's always the gas first, and it's like they should always be tied together pretty much. Now we are seeing Peru adjusting in a conservative way, in like the worst way possible. 2 cannons, you don't like it, but at least it gets you through. Cannon, then gateway. This is just like very scared, and unfortunately, tier 3 walls sometimes like this wall. There's nothing's good about this wall that we're seeing right now. Gateway's on the wrong side, not both sides. There's a whole lot of problems with this wall.
I'm just saying, I could imagine a worse wall, right?
For sure.
It could be worse. Look at that, starting +1 immediately. Okay, what Peru's doing could still make sense if he does not expand, just throws down a bunch of gateways, and he's like, suddenly I have +1 zealots. And look at this, 3rd hatchery going down in base for Insight, not taking advantage of the extra mining he might get later from a 3rd base to the actual base location. Nonetheless, these links coming out here. Now, Zerg is up to almost 400 gas. We have no layer in sight. Did he get link speed already? He did not, did he? No, he did not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already just worried though, because like, look, where's the Zilla gonna go to block things? There's multiple holes. So if the Zerg commit just runs with the 6, you can see right now. They get scared by the 1 can. Do decide to go around. I think they could have forced that issue if they wanted to, but being conservative, I have nothing wrong with that after doing a 12 hatch opening.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily a good idea to run in there, because you're going to get 4 lings in at best, and there's already a zealot out. Yeah, maybe you get a couple of pros, but it's very micro intensive, and like I say, it's already done a 12 hatch. Now, you know, having some trouble droning properly. Both players really just building up the gas bank this game. Okay, but The Cybercore went down, the Stargate's coming up, so this is his plan. He's going to get Stargate like really fast before his Nexus, try and get the drop on the Zerg here, but the Hydra Den is already almost complete. Oh, look at that probe taken out as well. Very nice.
Yeah, but like, look what we're seeing from Protoss. They're not getting air weapons, they're getting Dragoon range, and they're not getting a Nexus. So if you're doing like a Goon all in, you can't afford it off like what we're seeing here. This whole thing is just very, very... I think you're flustered after game 1, which happens to everybody. Tilt is definitely a major thing, and Insight just going for 3-hatch Hydra, I think is exactly what you're looking for here. You see that wall, and the Lynx got far enough, even though they got deterred from committing to the attack, they saw the lack of a Nexus.
Absolutely. So even if Protoss was attacking right, there's nothing I think Protoss can do on one base where Hydras aren't useful. And it is this Stargate, right? Now here's the thing, if Zerg sends all their Hydralists to attack, and they're all at this wall here, maybe the Corsair can get some good damage done, but ultimately Protoss going to invest in a lot of cannons to hold this off. Zealot Stone's come across too. Or not.
Well, here's the problem though. Without that Nexus, Zealots cost 100, Corsairs cost like over 100 as well, cans cost over 100. You can't afford dual, like that's what you would normally see. It's like I'm going to build the cans, build the army, get ready for the counterattack. If you without that Nexus, that doesn't work. You just can't afford it.
Yeah, I suppose you're right actually, and even just on this 2-base economy, well, 21 drones now, so not terrible. So it's going to be able to produce a lot of Hydras here. Now, going for this conservative Overlord in the base. Now, this is a teaching moment, I feel like, for Protoss as the first Corsair. Unless you already know Scourger out somehow, should always be going straight to the Zerg base to see what's going on, because no matter what's there, it can fly around and not get caught. And just have a look, because it's good scouting with a flying unit now. These Zealots getting back in position. There's still only one cannon here. Protoss in a lot of trouble right now. These Zealots can buy some time, but we need to see more cannons go down immediately. Oh, the cannon doing its work anyway. Where is the probe?
Yeah, I think what we're going to see from Insight is just being a little more conservative, especially at least until Hydra range is done. Because, you know, that one Corsair did get a kill. Now I can go out, like you can see retreating, getting ready to just be comfortable back at home while they're building up. Because Protoss build order is just a little bit all over the place. But +1 dud to finish. Dragoon range finishes as well. So maybe if you're building up these tanks, but there's still only 1 gate worth of production. And now we're making Zealot legs. Like, you have a very advanced units, but you're going to have so few of them. Protoss, just whatever they attack, it's just not going to be enough to do anything.
Well, I hope Protoss is following the rhyme Den before lair, Protoss beware, because if he sees this with his Corsair, he should be throwing down the cannons. Seeing this Den was already done, and the lair started just after he got there. Templar Archive's coming up as well, though, so he knows what he needs to hold this. But more gateways being built, not more cannons, and we see no mining really down at this natural. Okay, just starting it now. Goons being built. Now, it is technically a thing you can build Dragoons to deal with this, but he has no Goon range, and he's building them off one at the front of his wall. He does? When did he sneak
Remember, he's like, that's what I was like, I don't know why he got so early, but it's ready.
I didn't even remember you talking about that. Oh, sorry. Huh. Alright, well, yeah, like I was saying, technically you can use Goons to hold this, but I feel like you need to have 4 gates up already. He's adding more gates here, though. But, honestly, Zerg just should be in his face right now. Look how many Hydras he has, my god.
Yeah, everything I was like commenting about this Protoss build, I'm like, why did you get this? You don't still have the units. If this second base gets online a little bit, you get these gateways up, you start working towards Storm. If Zerg just gives them enough time, this Protoss army will just steer in a weird way to something that you would expect to see anyway. So the fact that Insight's not pressuring the front, I mean, Hydra range has been done for a while now. It's like there's still the one cannon, there's no splash. So yeah, I would like to see the move here from Insight. Like, at least test the defense. You can always run away.
Yeah, well, he's got a whole bunch of Hydras coming Peru's way now, and there's still only a single cannon, actually. I think Peru just dies here as long as Insight doesn't lose his nerve. I mean, look how many Hydras this is.
Yeah, it's a couple speed Zealots. We do see that first Templar on the way, but Storm's only halfway done. Going to be quite a while before that becomes relevant. Not a lot of Hydra micro, and a lot of Hydras are back here, not in the fight, but still, even that's just not enough units to go through. One Templar, don't go out there, but there's still no real defense here. Insight's just got to pull that trigger, and they can bust their way right into the space.
Oh, that's not Justice Pylon as well, actually. Depowers the forward and the cannon. And
so,
so,
not the gateway, at least.
Yeah, that's true. So that's the only defense left for Protoss. I think the game just ends here, actually. There's nothing to stop these Hydras. Even if Storm finishes, I mean, is one Storm going to do enough? Well, these Hydras are pretty clustered. If these Zealots... Well, okay, the Templar isn't actually down here to start the Storms. But Protoss still desperately trying to defend. But look at this. That's just a lot of Hydras. What can I say?
Yeah, those cannons didn't even get canceled. They got killed off by the Hydra so quickly
well,
at this point.
Protoss at least going to get a nice Storm before the game ends. It's totally worth staying in the game for that.
Yeah, 5 kills on a Templar. It was definitely worth it.
in the top left. What I really like about Insight is, like you were saying, he was kind of hesitant to move his army in there, but it's because he was kind of still doing stuff at home. He made a number of Hydras at home. He made this hatchery at the top left. Now look at this. DT's coming out, and there is no way an Overlord will be in here, because there's no Overlord speed. The Overlord's got around, got picked off by the Hydras, so that will clean this up eventually, but I mean, how much damage is he going to do in the meantime? Okay, first couple are out. Gonna go to work. Alright, compelling Zerg to pull back, but that might be a mistake here. Honestly, if Zerg just blew up the Nexus, it would be a good move. Okay, Overlord speed just starting now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems reasonable, but honestly, Insight like did so much damage so clearly in the lead right now.
Yes.
I don't mind just going like, all right, I can't push it any further. You're on one base. I know the tech you got. Like, we're good. Like, we don't need to do anything at this point. As we're adding on hatcheries now, you got the Overlord speed on the way. I would love to see that Spire, because you know there's no anti-air. There's been one Corsair made that's been forgotten about. It's third base, so you can just switch to mutas, do really whatever you want at this point.
Okay, look at this. He has a shuttle out already. A counter drop could be devastating, but can he really keep his base alive? I think Insight realizing there's only a limited number of DTs here, so if he just kind of splits his army up, he can't stop everything. But these two DTs will hold off for now. But yeah, a drop. Actually, wait, does he see that drop? Oh, he sees the shuttle. That's a very good indication. I'm just thinking a DT drop could potentially be devastating, because I mean, what does Zerg really have at home? He has Hydras rallying out, but they kind of go across the map. Overlord's only just popping, but there is a Corsair available. Man, this Probe is messing up those DTs there.
Yeah. I mean, at least Peru's worker count this game looking a lot healthier. The infrastructure's in the main base and already like in a decent spot, so maybe there's a chance again if Ensign just gives you enough time. But there's so many,
look at that
so many Hydras here, and there's no High Templars like made building up energy ready for Storm. So yeah, I don't know.
The Overlord speed just finished. He's here. The Harbinger of Doom has arrived. Oh, and oh look, and he has like 7 more.
Yeah, you're like the one.
On the stream, I had just the one Overlord in frame, and then as I finished speaking, those others just drifted in, and yeah, there's no way you're stopping that. Oh, that's just so many Hydras. Well, can I like do an intro paraphrase here? Like, he's very good at making Hydras, and that's an excellent skill to have.
Oh man, you know there's people in this league that aren't even old enough to understand that reference.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, so unfortunately for Peru, that was a clean 2-0 from Insight. Looking a lot crisper, Peru. Hey, Tier 3, that's why we're here to learn. No big deal, but still maybe things to work on for next CPL season, which, I mean, we're gonna do it at some point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is another point for Attitude Plus here, taking the lead 6-5.
DestrucToads. Insight's on DestrucToads.
Oh, my bad. Really? I thought it was the other way around this whole match. Well, I'm on an exciting roller coaster ride here, Set Series, because of your facts and logic. You're not enjoying the full potential of this.
Well, Fuzzy Branch is in the chat. If I did say something, they were going to be super sure about it.
Alright, let's get into our next series for tonight now. That was a pretty, like you said, clean, short one. Yeah,
I think that perfectly examples why PvZ can be a real hard to learn at the beginning, because you try to do things a little out of order, and you can just see how bad of a spot it can put you in. So, hey, Peru, you can only go up from there. He is just a little bit cleaning up that build order that you're going to be looking a lot stronger.
Absolutely. Can we get webcams on the players' faces, please? Oh, that'd be awesome, seeing their reactions. I would love that.
We can't get people to reload their replays all the time. You want webcams?
Alright. In the top right here, in the red, we have Fake Promise. And the bottom left in the blue, we have Zorgurn. I can say Zorgurn.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to watch this one from both players. I've been on teams with both of them in the past, and for Tier 3, they're definitely up there as far as like where they could be. Definitely trying to play the more reasonable kind of stuff. They're not going like totally wild and insane, but they got the concepts of what you're looking for. So hopefully they're closer to PvZ than we saw last game, because my heart can't take for us just losing a bunch right now.
Alright, so Fake Promise, of course, on DestrucToads, and Zorgurn for Attitude Plus here. So obviously looking for an evening out score again, or else for DestrucToads to pull into the lead further.
Well, speaking of getting a nice evened out score real quick, we see that Pro moving, I'm thinking to the 12 for maybe some gateways on location.
Looks like that's exactly what it's going to be, unless he's going to, I don't know, build a Nexus yet. But that's, alright, you know what's very even? 9 and 9 are exactly equal to each other. Protoss going to give us a little demonstration of just that, I think. this game here. We've done that pylon. Now, what is Zerg going for here? He's already got the Overlord. Is he going to throw down a pool? Looks like he probably is. Okay, there he goes. Okay. Now, I think the #1 best build against this is 9 full speed, because of course it is. Because you just kind of send your links to the Protoss base while you're building a sunken home, and Protoss just has to like send zealots home from their proxy, and they're probably just going to lose their gateways. But going for overpull, it should be okay. Depends how early Zerg figures out what's going on, how good the micro is. It all comes down to that. And we've seen in past CPL seasons, it's going to be a very tricky strat to deal with.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the scouting thing, which this is why I'm actually always a little bit torn with the Zerg. That if you just send the Overlord directly corner to corner, like, shouldn't you send at least looking for one of the proxy locations it can be? Just, it's free advantage. You know you're going to drone scout anyway.
Well, but the sooner you get to the Protoss base, the sooner you can find stuff out. Like, you know, are they throwing down more gateways? Are they getting +1? All that kind of thing. I guess you see +1 at the front, but you get my point. The sooner the Overlord goes there, the sooner you're scouting the main. Now, this drone going to find nothing at the natural, so already alarm bells should be ringing. You just check if there's gates in the main, and then there's only one other option right now. So, Fake Promise should know.
Well, there's 2 sets of links on the way. There's a larva sitting there, and I want that to be another link so badly. The drone does scout what's going on, and it is more links, so there is that appropriate reaction. But those gateways are up, now churning out the units. As long as Augur doesn't get supply blocked, things should still be looking pretty good. It's going to be up to, can you get that defense? Got to keep that probe alive. It's still helpful in these, and Fake Promise is just sending the links out. That's it. Interesting, but you know what? I kind of like it.
I think he's just checking Death Valley over here for the proxy, or maybe in the very bottom right. But little does he know, the Zealots are already coming in here. Uh-oh, need to pull those links back. Okay, nicely keeps those 2 alive. I was going to say, you don't want to fight with those 2 on their own. So pulling everything back. So far, so good from Zerg. Okay, that link we'll find out sooner or later that this is the location. But yeah, this is where it gets tricky because you need to keep all your drones alive. Doing an excellent job of keeping all the lings around the place alive so far. I'm impressed by Fake Promise's multitasking already, even though no fights have really happened. Alright, look at this. He's going to get these back in the base. That's very important. If they got blocked out, it would be a bad time, I think. Well, that said, maybe it is better to keep them on the other side. That's a lot of lings, though, now. Sogan needs to be careful. Oh, he would have been better off just holding the ramp, but now it's nice to surround these Zealots falling in the meantime. Then Zelda and the Natural killing a couple more lings. But these Zealots will be cleaned up easily by Fake Promise, and only one Zealot left to face those 6 lings is not going to fare too well. I heard a pylon being built. Oh, a 3rd gateway going down, as well as a forge that's already been built. How much can you afford of 13 probes? Say zero?
This is definitely, I think, reaching, because like, you already saw Fake Promise kind of scouting a bunch of directions, and when you saw those first Zealots hugging that top wall, they know where to go now. So yeah, you're investing in a spot that is dead to rights at this point here. 2 Zealots, a couple more reinforcements, but they can try the little ramp. Maybe you let it go, but I don't think this is going to work out so well.
Well, I think Fake Promise needs to counterattack, get a sunken at the natural, and then just send all your lings down here until Protoss is dead. Because you can see, Sorgan doesn't want to leave this proxy location because he knows his Zealots just get shredded, and the only defense at home is the cannon. It's kind of out in the open. Here we go. If like 12 lings showed up, oh gosh, they're all vital at the natural. If more lings than this showed up suddenly, like, they would just kill it. That drone, I'm sure, is going to be an absolute hero, though.
I mean, honestly, the amount of lanes we're already seeing here, because that Overlord might take some of the cannon fire, make it a little easier to get in and kill that cannon real quick.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
so many lings already made back at home, adding on a 3rd hatchery, keeping it low tech, so Fake Promise making a lot of the good decisions. The Overlord doesn't want to be the shield for the lings.
What are the lings doing? What happened to the lings just then? 2 of them turned back at the critical moment, screwing up the rest that are attacking. Now this cannon will not fall. I don't understand what just happened. Oh.
Yeah, I am not super thrilled about how that worked. Maybe that's a pathing issue or a little indecision, but that does mean the counterattack shows the lings are up there. Zogren's built up a pretty good Zealot force, and like this no 8 Zealots now, no Stunkins, it's just some lings here on the way, and at least they don't have +1 or anything, but still, this is now an intimidating force you have to be able to figure out. And Fake Promise says they were drunk, but you know what? That's not an excuse, man. It's never an excuse.
It's a freaking semi-finals match. Come on, man. But yeah, that's just too many Zealots. They're melting those lings. Like I said, there's no sunken there. There's not much Zerg can do. Looks like Protoss might power his way through here. I don't know if Zerg can actually resist this now. 3rd hatchery is up, which is kind of nice, but you only have 9 drones here, buddy. You're going to need more to produce that many lings. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, realistically, like, I think there's a great opportunity for Fake Promise to either stabilize for going in later or get that big counterattack, but that incision, not like maybe it was pathing, but nothing going out. But hey, the Zealots are fighting in the middle line. Best chance you're going to get.
Well
Drone choose not to fight. And
well,
yeah.
I was going to leave the game, but he said GG, but he's staying here. I guess he just wanted to watch all his units die.
Yeah, now it's the GG well played. You got to
Oh, he had to fix it. Right, yeah, true. Fair enough, fair enough.
Huh?
So let's continue to shred stuff. Alright, there we go, and he finally leaves. Not the most dramatic end, but there you go.
Alright, so we're seeing if you plan Eclipse, make the early units, apparently it's all you need.
Yeah, it works well. I mean, Zealot, good unit.
And I'm actually a little surprised you didn't go on your rant about them playing the BSL version.
Yeah, I was going to, but we had other stuff to talk about. If you hadn't proxied, I definitely would have. If you had to turn off allied chat, yeah, maybe. You know, you can just press Shift-Enter, right? You don't have to go into the menu.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have seen the first message if it was an allied chat.
True.
Right? So, shenanigans, I don't buy it, but you know what? We're on Fighting Spirit now. Second game. Hopefully we're going to get something a little bit longer here as we go into the second match.
Well, yeah, surely shenanigans are harder to pull off here. In the top left in the red, we have Fake Promise, and the bottom right in the blue, we have Zorgon, currently up one game for Attitude Plus here. And they are looking to even it up because it's 6-5 currently. Now, will we see Proxy again? I highly doubt it. I just don't think that's Zorgon's go-to. It was just a one-off thing, especially on Eclipse, right? It seems like a good map for it. Whereas on Fighting Spirit, well, you're building in the middle. Who knows where they're really going to be.
Yeah, and like, there's always that little part where it's like, he managed to win that game, but he probably knows he shouldn't have. Where it's like, if you were thinking about like, what if I do it twice? Maybe like you're like, no, they should have defended. I'm not going to push my luck here. And as I see that pylon at the natural, maybe something a little more reasonable. Always interested to see if these low-level players want to try that gateway expand. You like playing with Zealots? You can still do it, just, you know, Forge a lot more stable. So that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah, me too.
But
yeah.
that probe isn't scouting, so maybe it is the gateway.
Ooh, a 9 gate or 8 gating? Okay, 9 gating? I don't know, maybe it should have scouted, I don't know. Oh, he's thinking about it. Looks like he wants to build the Forge, in fact. But we see a 9 pool coming up from Zerg saying, you know what, I can do it too. 9 gate, more like 9 pool. Let's see how this goes. Now, where's that Forge? Where's that Forge?
Where's that anything at this point? You're still floating $9. What are we seeing here? It is a Forge, and already Forge is that kind of build where you want to scratch out every little bit of money you can. The fact that the piles made so early, that they were sitting on 9 supply for a significant amount of time, and they didn't get that scout, so you can't see the pool timing as reliably. This is not looking great already, but you know what? Still got a lot of game to play. 9 pool hasn't found the opponent just yet, and we'll see if we get better defense than we saw in game 1.
Yeah, so the gateway coming up immediately after it, actually. Ooh, that's kind of spicy here.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, like Forge Gateway is not spicy. It is very, very not spicy.
What is it then? It's bland? Is very bland?
It's I'm scared. I feel like I need to get all this stuff. Cannons like will get you through, but
it's like
edge your teeth.
You taste the soup and you're, ooh, that's a little bit spicy, and you add like a bucket of milk to it. Is that what this is?
I was gonna say like ice cubes or something maybe, because it's too hot for you, but man, a bucket of milk. What kind of soup do you make, dude?
I was just thinking, what would be the worst thing to add to it? I'm thinking like a big pot of soup, but still a bucket seems like a lot, doesn't it? Now, the Lings are out from the 9 pool. I don't know what they are in this context then. They're the guy with like the bottle of Tabasco sauce comically tripping over to put it in their soup. I don't know. 2 drones were down here anticipating the block, but the Protoss probe... Wait, did it get killed? Did we miss that? Too busy talking about...
It got killed by Lings almost immediately.
Oh, which killed? Oh, the Lings. Oh, okay. I was...
So did see Lings, that's why we see the second cannon away, but this is why I hate this gateway. Look, there's 2 pylons made, haven't even finished the Zealot yet, still no Nexus.
Like he has finished a Zealot, but the second pylon I do question too. Oh gosh, what's with my hotkeys today? I keep hitting like menu instead of camera.
Yeah, and actually, I kind of love this gas steal. It's the most obnoxious
in this
looking
case,
thing.
yeah. Normally I'd say don't bother, but like with what Protoss has done so far, this actually kind of screws Protoss up a bit further, doesn't it? Okay, but
yeah, because when you get that fast gas or the fast gateway, at least you could justify it's like, all right, my econ's bad, but the tech speed will still be pretty good. Now without gas, it won't be.
Yeah, so most Protoss have going for them, really. They have a strong defense at the front. That's it. Like, okay, Zerg only on 2 bases though. Drone not getting in position for a 3rd. Wasn't there another drone out? I suppose not. I'm going to see. Excuse me, people on stream.
I heard that one all the way from Australia.
That's
Crazy.
right. That's right. The shockwave's still reverberating around the globe. This gas is going to get taken out. So we see the layer just on 2 hatch here. Now, it seems that this is the go-to for Zergs in tier 3, but man, I gotta say, just try getting a 3rd hatch and just making more drones. It's pretty effective. Kronos has a hard time doing anything about it once speedlings are out.
Yeah, I mean, I at least like that we see the transition to lair. You got that gas steal. You know how delayed things are. Now, I want to see like a real use of the lair though. Sometimes we see these people get the lair and they're just getting Hydra dens. Like, I got this lair, but I'm not going crazy with it. I want to see that fast spire. I want to force a bunch of cans, or I want to see like quick lurker tech or something that really abuses that lair.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we don't see a Hydra den yet, do we? So it must be a spire here. Drone count's still very low because Zerg really didn't take their opportunities here to macro very much. Not hitting those lava and turning them into stuff, unfortunately. So the work count more even than it needed to be, given how late Protoss Nexus was. And now 2 pro production going to kick in here as well. Okay, Zealots looking like they want to do something here. I don't believe he got +1, no? No, he did not. So
No gas.
Right. Oh, that Zealot. Oh, decently micro by Fake Promise, but looks like the Zealot is going to be able to turn around and survive, probably.
Oh no, how? I don't even understand, but we do see at least Cybercore is completed. No use to the gas just yet, so it ends up being Dragoon. Well, I guess if you feel you have real pressure for immediate anti-air, but Spire's halfway done at this point. Fake Promise should know they're in that great of a spot. If I see Scourge, I will not be thrilled. But
yeah, definitely.
You know what? Still in a great spot.
That's why you want this Overlord inside the base. Yes, the Overlord, the Dragoon will kill it, but you would have seen that there was no Stargate on the way. And then you just make as many mutas as possible because they crush Dragoons, obviously, in small numbers. Okay, now these Zealots might actually get out here and do something because there's not that many Lings left now after a couple got baited by the cannons. That one-engine Zealot man, he did his job. He baited them back. Okay, Lings retreating. Do we have any Sunken? A Sunken is useful when you're going Spire. It looks like he's going to build one at the natural. Very nice move there. Again, though, the 3rd hatch just can't be at the 3rd base. I'm sad.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just, feeling a little bit concerned that you're, because we always see that move, a couple Zealots go to the 3rd base where you don't have the defenses, if you're trying to be a little turtled up here. Spire does finish, haven't seen any use for it just yet. The supply block is a little bit severe at the moment, so this is not hitting that great timing you could hit. There's going to be so many mutas on the way with, no actual real anti-air, but we're fortunately going to miss it. And Zagorn went Citadel first, which I like. Citadel first is fine, but now trying to go late into Stargate, which I don't like, because if they run air units, they would already hit you. And otherwise, just go Templar. You can use Archons or Storms, something else.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If you go Zealot Speed and Templar Archives, you can send out the Speed Zealots to force the units to defend. You get Archons in the meantime, and you're usually fine. But yes, now these slow Zealots are going to get picked off pretty easily here. Another little win for Zerg there. But only 2 mutas have been made, and again, Zerg really not macroing here. I have to question Zerg's priorities, to be honest. Seems like they're spending a lot of time moving these Lings around, but in the production tab we see absolutely nothing, and Zerg almost hit 1,000 minerals for a second there. So honestly, despite what's happening in the strategic situation, Zerg getting very behind here just from banking so much money. Where we see Zorgon, despite sporadic pro production, it is good that their money is kept low. Okay, Mutalisk out now. But they're not doing anything, they're just chilling, defending here. Now, there's a small amount of Zealot Goon. If that comes across, those mutas will give it a very nasty surprise.
Well, I mean, there's enough Lings out here, because that +1 for the Pro is about halfway done at this point, so even still, you're not fighting Lings super effectively. A lot of mutas have been made that first Corsair's out, unfortunately going the wrong direction, so these mutas are just going to show up, and I at least like this from Zog. We're trying to take that 3rd base, maybe you're feeling the pressure, trying to cut some corners. If Fake Promise found it would have been great, but apparently not going all the way down here.
He wants to kill that
somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should have seen a Scourge or 2. There's plenty of gas. But nonetheless, he can chase that Corsair with Mutalisk. Now, not doing Muta Micro here, which is a bit of a mistake. Yes, you don't want to cluster up those Corsairs necessarily, but for harassment against the ground... Okay, there you go, clustering up a bit now. It's absolutely essential that you do the proper Muta Micro. Is that Overlord inside? I think that can be killed. Wait, what? He can't see that? Oh my god, how can he not see that? But okay, yeah, taking out a Corsair, which is a nice start, and now way more Mutalisks on the way. Finally, the macro kicking in here. Fake Promise finally spends his money here, and now Protoss under a lot more threat. But because of the sluggish macro of Fake Promise, he's had time. He's building another Corsair. His Templar's out. I don't believe Storm actually got researched though. But no. I would like to see cannons in the main. This Stargate is extremely exposed as is, and honestly, this is a lot of Mutalisks now.
Yeah, the Storm just getting started now, so yeah, there's just not a lot of anti-air here. You can see even at this point, Zogwern trying to produce what they can, but they got 4 gateways, so 5 total. Can't even produce out of them because Dragoons are not that effective. They're good in the pinch, but it's like they are expensive. You're cutting into your gas count, it kills your Templar count. Like everything about it is just a little bit struggle, and you can see more mutas already in the middle of the map. These cannons not gonna be enough. One Corsair is not gonna be enough either.
Oh, okay, they pull back. I think these mutas can still finish this off though, yeah, and there's the second wave on the way, so definitely this third not going to go down. Definitely going to want Storm to secure that. I mean, he has like, what, 5 gates? You know, only one shot. I would say 6 gates is a good one to take the third. Look at this, these Corsairs engaging these Mutalisks a little bit at a time. I mean, honestly, I'm not really sure if that does favour the Corsairs now I think about it, because they're doing less splash damage that way. But yeah, this Nexus will definitely fall. These Corsairs are not enough to hold this off. Storm is on the way though, Corsairs continue production. I just really wish there were cannons in here. Those Templars were just free money just there, but they do more.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Archon, at least that'll be more useful, but as much as Fake Promise is doing here, killing this Nexus, still, the worker count's not great, no third base taken. So, if you keep building these muta counts and you are very careful with them, it's going to work out pretty good, but all you need is like to get punched twice by an Archon, and like you're in a real bad shape, and there's the first one.
Yes. Oh, he's going to go in again. That Archon looking for the shot, but he's not on attack move. Okay, there we go, he starts doing the damage, and he will just decimate those Mutalisks. Nothing kills Mutalisks faster, except maybe for like big storms. But I mean, okay, he lost a lot of Mutalisks, but he had a lot, so it looks like he's still going to take this fight, if barely. No, he retreats. I mean, that was such a good trade for Protoss. And look at this, targeting like the Templar archives as the Corsairs clean this up. Okay, going back to the Corsair now. But honestly, both players banking a huge amount during this. Zerg's production has halted. That one Dragoon trying to be a hero, but not going to be enough. 2 Dragoons? Maybe, because all these meters are so low. Might actually do the job here. Yeah, look at that. They're forced to retreat by Dragoon. That's like shame for Mutalisks.
Yeah, I mean, it should be able to repel this force here, but like you're saying, so much money being built up from both sides. Which is Zogwern, they got gateways. You could just rally that up a little bit. Fake Promise is in the base trying to micro, at least a little more excusable. But still, we don't see that third base taken. Now, like, these meters are starting to, like, kind of filter out, but we don't see Templars being built anymore, and there is that transition into Hydras. But there are at least some Templars in production. They just won't have a whole lot.
Some Templar, indeed, 4 at once. Like, oh, he's going to have a lot of storms for that as long as he can deploy them. Yeah, I mean, fighting Archons straight up, you have to salute his bravery, but oh, that was just brutal for those Mutalisks.
Yeah, it's not what you really look for. Now, both players decided third base are the good move, going to corners of the map where they will not be detected for a significant amount of time. So, I like that we're seeing some interesting stuff here. Zogwern, I think, will favor this a little bit more if they manage to hold it. And they're trying to sticks anyway. The deception of it all. It's like, no, this base, I want this one.
Cancels again. I mean... Oh, okay. Oh, no, do not come in here. That Archon is ready. Okay, they learned their lesson. They're not going to try it again. Yeah, look at this. You know, this worked out kind of well for Fake Promise, though, because Protoss has this extremely anti-Mutalist focused army. He's got Archons, Goons, and Corsairs. I mean, he could have kept some Templars, but nonetheless, like, if it's just a whole bunch of Hydras from here on out, this actually looks pretty good for Zerg, because Hydra is very effective against all 3 of those units.
Yeah, I'm actually real concerned though, because Lurker Aspect's near completion, and there's no Robo started yet, which I know the game was a little bit weird how the attacks were happening and the path we got here, but at a certain point you have to realize Lurkers will be the move, especially as you keep accumulating more of that ground army. We see a lot of Hydras moving across the map. They're slow, so like I think they're going to be more to Lurkers as soon as reasonably possible, especially with that much gas banked up. He was harassing the natural and of course moving down to the 6 as well.
Yeah, these Lings getting in here. Can they cancel this before the Archons and do anything about it? Like, I don't think they're... Okay, they are right-clicked on it down. Look at that. Cancels it once again. Oh, wait, it didn't even cancel. He killed it. Oh, that's a big blow. Now, Mutalisks in the main here, but they're not going to see what they really need to see. Because you see, State Zero, in the top right, we have a fleet beacon.
Yeah, and what I really see is 12 Lurkers being made, and hopefully Fake Promise kills
this. Forget about all that. Forget about all that. Not important. We have a fleet beacon, alright? That's what's important. Now, is he going to go for
Alright,
D-Web or just for carriers? I want to see carriers, man. That'd be sick. But yeah, I don't know. 12 lurkers does seem pretty tough.
You know it's going to be carriers because they're adding on a second Stargate up there. They weren't accumulating Corsairs.
Two Stargate Corsair and D-Web everything. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, are you running builds for Liquipedia now? Is this your
move? I don't think Wikipedia advocates carriers in ZVP. It's not that bad. Okay, now Protoss realizes the trouble is in. He's spread out a whole bunch of cannons here. He's got the minerals. And where are the Templars, man? He morphed all his Templars into Archons even after he did reset Storm. Oh, you're right. It is carriers. Oh, my gosh. Now I just really want Zergon to live. Once again, it's 6 o'clock. Gonna go down. Oh, no. Oh,
honestly, Zogwart is paying 100 minerals like every minute to be like, no, I really want this space, though.
True. That's actually probably...
the big step to move.
Wait, did he transfer Pro to the top right? How the hell did he do that? Or did they just get built and assigned all at once? I just saw like
they're just being built. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like maybe you're right. Like that base would make more than 100 per minute, right? But now Zerg has locked down this location. He's probably gonna start getting suspicious. But that's a big lurker field. Well, you know, carrier's pretty good against lurkers. I'm pretty sure. I've never seen that matchup, but I'd imagine the lurkers would struggle. Oh, but now he's chipping away at this wall.
They're not particularly great against Hydras, though, is kind of the problem.
Yeah. Well, if you have a lot of them and there's not that many Hydras, which is certainly not the case at this point in time.
Well, like, so one of the main reasons you'd be like, well, how can we never see carriers? Like, oh, there's, like, okay, it's a lot of time, but once you get them, maybe? It's like, well, Hydras are good, but also Scourge exists, which they're not going to overkill. Like, it's not like you're like hoping like things are gonna work out like in a real big way. It's kind of like how you use Scourge against battle cruisers when those pop up occasionally. Like they're still cost
except the battle cruisers can kind of defend themselves at least, whereas the carriers, like I don't think a carrier is ever gonna kill a Scourge because the Interceptors take so long to get out there and hunt it down. Look at that Archon, he's trapped in no man's land now.
Well, there was a scout up to the top right, so it got killed by the cannon. So at least there's a base up there, and we can see the units starting to flood over in that direction. So we'll see if Zogwart can survive long enough. There is a carrier made. It's making some things, making some interceptors, but one carrier with like 4 interceptors fighting any Mother Hydras, that's gonna make me sad to watch.
Yeah, well, because if these cannons, at least on the ramp, if those Zealots get in position, this does become a lot harder for Zerg to bust. He could make a Templar there, which would be a really good move. Still under siege at the natural here. Wait, what's that explosion I heard? Oh, that's the gateway dying. Right, yeah. It looks like Zerg not intent to just charge up there, which probably is wise, actually, because his cannons would shred him. But that means he doesn't know the truth yet. Wait, does he? No, he still doesn't see the fleet beacon. Okay, Protoss going to try and bust out here, and honestly, it's unsupported lurkers on their own against this many goons. It looks like Protoss going to crush that pretty easily, actually, unless the Hydras come back. If the Hydras were here, they could destroy these goons. Well, and maybe it's not enough goons after all. They're trying to get in there.
Well, they're just not being kind of managed in the way you want them to. They walked all over the lurkers, and Zogwart's going to say it's not enough. Couldn't build up that carrier armor you're really hoping for here. So, Fake Promise taking the win.
I think it's a bit of a premature GG there because he still has this top right base that he's mining from, and like, who knows, man, this carrier switch could suddenly come out. It's like, all he has is lurkers, then suddenly with carriers, I don't know. I just wanted to see where it went, basically. Maybe that's why I didn't want him to leave.
I think you just want to see the wild stuff, which, you know what? The wild stuff's kind of the best things, but that is 1-1. We get to see our game 3.
Yeah, it was a tumultuous game, I think. And Zerg throwing away so many Mutalisks, but still pulling it off in the end. Honestly, a lot of the time in Tier 3, I feel like we see aggression is just better than anything else.
I think if we... we'll get into it like after we introduce.
Alright, at the 12 o'clock position, spawning in the red, we have Fake Promise. And in the bottom right, in the blue, we have Zolgan. Currently, the series tied 1-1, so this will be the final game here on Ascension.
And which is a weird map. A lot of players seem to not really want to play the normal game here, moving around your army to expansion powers. Everything's just a little bit weird about Ascension. Now, what I was going to say, which we've seen throughout some of the Tier 3 games we've seen, if you just, like, played that single player and just, like, approach the grind, like, this is your 10-minute build. Just do this the best you can. Like, these things, this order, just try your best.
Yeah.
I feel like we'd be seeing a lot better results because we're seeing, like, some very unoptimal stuff, some, like, very drop macro in favor of trying to do some micro, which
Yes.
at lower levels, just more units. You're not going to micro better than like 10 more lings, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. But ultimately, that's kind of what I mean in a way, though. If your plan is just make lings until he dies, never mind your multitasking macro balance. If your opponent's trying to like expand and play macro, I think it's easier to pull off the former in tier 3, and it kind of relies on your opponent not making mistakes to defend that kind of thing. But yeah, again, in tier 3, it's quite common they will. Now, speaking of, we have a 9 pool again.
And we have another thing again.
Oh, what? Oh, wait, over here? Oh, I guess it kind of makes sense because it's in bottom left. It's not too far.
Yeah, the problem is this is clearly not practiced, which I hate like just calling things out, but
yeah,
the
you're
probe
right.
didn't get there for like until it was at 250 minerals. So you didn't know when to send it out.
Yeah, so Zorgon freaking out after a certain point in the last game, I think. Like I said, I do think he left too early, so I'm not sure what's going on right now with him, and he's going like, oh, I must proxy him now. Gonna get the second one down here, though. Is this Overlord almost gonna see it? Not quite. But if the probe comes out at a weird angle... Let's see.
And there is a pilot up at the front, maybe trying to sell the fake, but...
Yeah?
I mean, we already got the 9 pool on the way. You already got 3 sets of lings, and plenty of money banked up. We'll see if it ends up being the hatchery to follow it up, and at least Zogward does get that first scout if they commit to it. But it's shifting on the correct direction.
This pilot at the front actually kind of screwing up Protoss if you think about it, because it both shows his position to the drone sooner and shows the Zerg that he's not building anything there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's not really what you want to be doing here.
Yeah,
that scout probe at least getting a little bit distracted, but the lings are not buying any of it. They know where to go.
Look at these drones! What are these drones doing? Are they expecting a cannon rush? Is that no? He sees no forge, so I don't know. Okay, one zealot is coming out. Okay, second one finally in production there. Not sure what's going on with those drones. Honestly, Zerg just needs to sunken at home, and then he can do all the damage he needs to do at the Protoss space. Now he is trying to sell up this forge, but I mean the lings are basically here. They're just going to tear down everything there, and then go to work on the probes. So Protoss going to have to do huge counter damage here.
Yeah, which if you're trying to build pylons and forges and all this stuff, you can't afford to make 2 zealots at a time. So like even the build's kind of countering itself at this point. Everything gets killed off the fronts. At least some of it got canceled to save some of the money, but now Lang's working on the pylon, but there's still nothing here. Going to main, you know what's going on. You got that gas steal again, which is, you know, maybe that's the signature move of what we're seeing and a lot more viable on the 3-player map. But the zealots show up. No reaction to bring the Lynx home back just yet. Didn't see a sunken this time as well, so we might get another silly game, but probes are in the main and they're working right on that Nexus. No reaction from Zogward.
I mean, maybe he can mine 400 for falls, I'm pretty sure he can, and then he like brings all his probes to the Zerg base, but look at that, his zealot going to work on drones, or maybe the drones are going to work on it, I don't know, it depends who you ask. And they actually clean it up pretty well, while the other one hitting this natural hatchery, a couple of zealots idle at the proxy gates, and the Nexus does fall. Now, Protoss has 400 minerals, so the game's not necessarily over, but he needs to come here and kill the drones, basically. There's only, like, oh, okay, no, there's more drones than I thought. I thought it was, like, only 4, because they're all clustered, but there's actually quite a lot. And Ling's getting juiced off 2 hatcheries now. Protoss is on a severe clock here. Where are these probes trying to go? Are they mineral walking to the Zerg base? Because that's honestly what they need to be doing.
I don't think you want to follow the Lings right now. Like if you're trying to, I'm gonna hide a Nexus. I got a brilliant plan.
Okay, they are mineral walking through, but these Lings are gonna do pretty good damage in the meantime. Now, if this was StarCraft 2, you'd hold position, then they kill every probe. But alas, his Zealot's still going to work here. Down to 9 drones. These Lings just AFKing on the side, letting the Zealot kill all the drones. 2 more Zealots show up. These Lings still don't want to get involved. I don't know. Zorg could potentially win this fight with really good micro. Oh, but the Ling's getting on now. Oh, and they do surround those Zealots very nicely as they will be picked off, and I think that's it for this game and this series. GG. Fake Promise going to take it 2-1. That's another point for DestrucToads.
Yeah, that's a nice fortitude to stay in it with weird games, but not losing sight of what you need to be doing there, especially the adjustment compared to what we saw in Game 1 to handle the situation a little bit better in Game 3. But I always tell people this. I mean, playoffs, maybe you think about it a little differently. You got to feel the pressure a little bit more, but don't play CPL matches doing unpracticed stuff. That's why you have coaches and teammates. Like, practice what you want to do.
Well, I'll throw it out there that maybe he didn't prepare for Ascension, which, you know, also probably not a good idea, but maybe that's why we saw just like the unpracticed proxy gates there. He was like, no, I'll win 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the idea was there, though. Worked in Game 1. Might as well go for it again, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. So Hatcher Cake, or not Hatcher Cake, Fake Promise gets the 2-1 win. Well played.
Alright. In the top right here in the blue, we have FA. And in the bottom left, in the red, we have Jester. Getting into this next best of 3 here, starting off on Eclipse, of course. Now we have FA for Attitude Plus, Blue Zerg, and Jester the red Protoss for DestrucToads. DestrucToads looking for another one here to get ever closer to that win, currently up 7-5 in this best of 21? No, best of 19, I don't remember. Is it 0?
Well, you could say first to 10.
This first to 10, there you go. Best of 19 it would be then, yes.
Yes, there you go. Now another PVZ. Hopefully, I'm still waiting for let's see that standard game, because that's what I want to see out of Tier 3 play. Because that's the promise that shows oh, let's look at they're on the rise Tier 2 soon. You know what I mean? If it's they're doing the normal things and they're trying their best. It's not going the way you want. There's fumbling here and there, but still start. It's if you're gonna cook dinner, at least still start with a recipe, even if you're kind of messing it up as you go.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Now, we might see totally different strategies from here. Maybe we'll finally see Zerg taking a third base with the third hatchery, because we've not seen that yet today. I feel like it's a pretty strong move.
Now, see, you say stuff like that, but honestly, if you just want to, I would tell every Zerg 3-hatch Hydra until they prove they can defend it.
Yeah, 3-hatch Hydra at the third base, sure.
Yeah, sure.
I'd be fine with that. That would be progress. Okay, so we have Gateway coming up. So, he's not adding the milk to the soup, man. He's adding a pinch of chili powder here. Just a pinch. But that's...
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting to see. I think you can be... It's good. It's good if you can handle it, but you can really put yourself in a bad spot with the Gateway expand. There's a little bit of that bad Zealot positioning, or especially something like Eclipse where there's 2 main paths you can move through. Really 3 if you count going down the Murder Alley across the bottom. You can easily not see a move out and think you're safe to go when you really are not.
Yeah, that is part of it, right? I like to say about Gateway opening, or maybe about Gateway versus any Ling heavy strategy in particular. Protoss needs perfect decision making, but if they have it, it's probably advantageous. But we'll see about that. I mean, obviously Zerg could make mistakes in decision making too as well, when to engage, and that can give Protoss an in for sure. Now we see 6 things coming up right away. I don't know if that's necessary against a gate expand like this. I would say you want 8 links sooner or later, but maybe you don't need it so fast, because it's not all the way over here, and your base is all the way over here.
I think it'll be okay. Now we are seeing Jester doing something a little bit weird here. It is a gas before the Nexus going down, so not really what you're expecting to see. I would be curious what the move is going to be. My guess would be that it's going to be for getting a reasonably fast Citadel and trying to make some kind of time attack out of these Zealots. Yeah,
okay. So we're seeing the Forge before the Nexus again against Overpool. What do you think of that? Is he pouring milk in his soup now?
I hate this build every time I see it in every condition.
I think they very
clearly say
What about now? It was actually chocolate milk. He's making something crazy.
Oh god! This analogy of your milk soup is just the worst thing.
Hey, it works perfectly.
It
works perfectly. You see the chef pouring milk in the soup. What the hell are you doing? He's like, oh, don't worry, it's chocolate milk. You're like, okay, wait a minute, what? He's just making it worse with this second gate in base. Okay, I say he's making it worse, but maybe this is the strategy, right? Because Zook sees this, he's not going to be able to scout except with this flying unit that can bypass the wall, which it's not doing. If he thinks it's just one base, but suddenly there's a whole bunch of zealots, it's like, well...
But the problem is, okay, follow me down the path, right? There's no Nexus here, which we saw the last time. You just can't afford to do all stuff. Multiple gateways, you got a Forge, you probably want +1, you probably want to get into tech. You can't afford all this stuff on one base economy from Protoss. You just can't.
No, he's doing it. He's doing it. You can't tell him he can't. I mean, he's going to get a Citadel, I assume, here.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see what it ends up being, but it's the kind of thing where it's you look at a build like this and it goes, oh, this ooh, it can catch him off guard, do his things. It's well, if you just look at the normal 8 Zealot attacks or even the old school Zealot Archon, it's it hits harder and faster.
People in chat, Fuzzy Run saying throw some Fruit Loops in there, but that would be if he went one step crazy, which he hasn't yet. I don't even know what you'd be getting, a Robo, I guess. But if it's coconut milk, that means it was a legit strat all along, so no, that's not what this is. Okay, we does get the Nexus, so I'm kind of ooh, yeah. I would much prefer if he just added 2 more gates in the Citadel, just alright, I have Zealots, good luck, instead of this Okay, I have slightly more zealots, but my nexus is extremely late. Now you're on 3 bases. I mean, okay, where are the links right now? There's a few. Actually, I think he has enough. Link speed only just starting, though. That makes it a lot harder for the Zerg. Disregarding these zealots, if they get in a good position, they can get an excellent trade here, and they're going to go right on that ramp, which is a big problem here for Zerg. Okay,
but they're not on the ramp. They're going for drones. And now that means you're going to be in the middle line. Drones get pulled, so not going to take too much damage. But the links can get great surround, not blocking the surface area that well. And these links are going to clean up everything. And now, what does Jessup have behind it?
Yeah,
actually, barely enough for these zealots, but reinforcements will easily get the job done.
Look at that Overlord just like ruining our camera angle. Wow. Like, does he got her? Did you see that? But yeah, like that's pretty good damage by those zealots. And I think it actually made it worth it for J-Stir, but he didn't get that many drones. But it is forcing Zerg to continue to make lings now. See how many more drones he can get. Oh, decent drill. Very good drill, actually. Nicely done by Zerg, actually. Like, I gotta say Zerg's still in the advantage here then, because he still has his economy. It's just that he's been forced to make a lot of lings until now. But what does Protoss have to answer this Spire coming up? I almost called it a Citadel for some reason. The Citadel of Mutalisks.
Oh, yeah, it's a Mutalist deck, you know.
Mutalist deck, yeah, that's good. A Hydralist pool, I don't know.
No, one of the other CPL casters we got, everything's a den. They're all dens.
Ultralisk den.
But yeah.
Defiler den. Oh god, I hate that.
Yeah, like it's all reasonably close, but yeah, Spire about halfway done at this point. Citadel is finished, but no immediate rush to that Temple Archon. Second gas has not been taken as the Protoss, so there's not going to be any reasonable anti-air here. So if the move is just going for mutas, it's going to be pretty hard to kind of stop them. But, you know, we've seen people engage things they really didn't want to before. DeFi, though, playing a lot more normal, still getting hatcheries. They got that third base you wanted so badly, just building up a worker count and not going crazy. I think realizing that Justice build's weird. So just like, I'm going to stay on course. I'm probably good.
Yeah, I agree completely. We can see Zerg's in a great position because of this third base. He has a great economy compared to Protoss, whose Nexus is extremely delayed. Now, here's the thing. Protoss does have the option to just send the Zealots with speed, and Zerg is forced to respond to that, and that buys time to get up the Archons, just like we were talking about in that other game. Hydrogen coming up now, so Zerg probably not going to be doubling down on Mutalist this game. Ooh, that must be a misclick. Ooh. 6 Scourge being made. Is it over here? No, where is it? What?
Yeah, it's not what you want.
There's no air units whatsoever for Protoss at this time. Of course, I suppose he doesn't know it's not Stargate. If only he had some flying unit that could scout the Protoss base. Anyway, no Mutalists being made just yet, so not going to put any pressure on the Protoss, which is really a lost opportunity here. In fact, maybe more than that. How is he going to stop these Zealots without Mutalisks? They have +1. They just shred those links completely with +1. My god. That was like a war crime.
Now, see how strong these linebackers are? They move across, they're fast, they got the cleats on, they got that +1, they're well trained and ready for fighting. Imagine if you did the normal build, you'd have this attack like 3 minutes earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's gonna work pretty well though. Anyway, look at this, it's just 3 like
there's no defense, no sunken, no Sim City, no air units, and yeah, these Zelts are gonna be really hard to stop.
The Scourge were gonna go, but then they're like, actually I don't want to crash into the ground. Oh, but there's a lot of drones. Not the best unit against Zealots. Oh gosh, is a single Zealot going to fall here? I suspect that they're not. Oh my god. Just cutting through all of them. Oh my god. No Zealots died yet. Oh my god. There's nothing here to defend. He's going to lose all his tech.
I mean, I think they were going to lose all of everything. Get prepared for game 2. If they got to tap out here. And it's like, because that soup analogy is just so ridiculous every time we keep hearing it. He added in the milk. Yeah. And then he just let it simmer. He lets it simmer. No, it's not the chocolate. We shut your mouth with the chocolate milk, right? But he throws in the milk and he lets the thing simmer like it's taking so long. He just reduces down. Now he's got a cream sauce. He stumbled his way into something that made sense.
Yeah, that's right. I guess so. Yeah, like he left it long enough. And then I assume the analogy ends with him just lifting up the pot and throwing it over his opponent.
Yeah, that's exactly where we go. Yeah, that's all cream sauce is, right? It's just undercooked milk soup.
Definitely. Hot take of the day here at CPL.
God, I need to cook something real like after this cast so bad. Like, my brain is dying.
In the top right, in the red, we have J-Stir, and the bottom right, in the blue, we have FA. J-Stir currently up 1 game in this series, in this best of 2.
Now, what I really want to see, because I mean, we talk about we've had a lot of weird builds, you know, kind of talking about the players play in general. I think that game, it was normal enough. Let's talk about reactions. I want to see Ife scout more aggressively, get an idea of what their opponent's doing, because you kept making jokes about that Overlord, but that would have seen all of that coming.
Yes, definitely.
Miles away.
Well, even if he didn't know it was coming, if he just made like solid Mutalisk immediately, it would have been fine anyway. And I would have said Zerg would be ahead because he had the third base for a while, whereas Protoss, the second base, was very delayed. Mixing some drone blood red source as Fuzzy Branch. Well, we're verging over from metaphors into like, you know, reality for Zerg. They don't want to hear about their drones dying. It's too painful.
I wouldn't want to eat Zerg. They don't look like they taste good.
Wouldn't you get like infested or something if you ate Zerg? I don't know. They're probably all poisonous.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I'm not going out there like hunting Zerg. I'm not scraping up the Zerg roadkill after the vultures go past and eating that.
I mean, like, think about like how like muscular and strong and fast the Zergling is. There's gotta be like it's all like tough muscle fiber, just like the worst food ever.
No, it's probably full of like, you know, like spiky bits too.
Yeah, no, it'd just be like it's just not worth the effort at all. Now we are seeing open pool opening, I believe, from Ife, so we're getting the normal
gateway,
stuff.
though.
We got another gateway start from Justice, so they seem to like this build.
That second pylon. Look at that second pylon. What's the plan with that? He's unscrewing the lid from the milk as we speak.
All right, so before he throws the milk in the scoop.
Whoa, I can't handle this. He's going for this gas.
God, he's doing it again. All right, I was even going to try to save it before he said anything. I'm like, if you just go Zealot expand and just crank out Zealots, and then you need a second pylon, which you'll throw in by your main.
Not today.
And then you'll get a Nexus, but you don't get the gas. So, like, I was trying to save him. He's like, nah, man, milk it up. Just
He's got both hands on the bottle as he's, like, shaking it into the pot right now. Is he really going to get a forge now as well? Oh, what are you going to do with that gas? What are you going to do with that gas? Is he going to get +1 weapons? I kind of hope he does, because at least it'll make some sense.
Realistically, I think it's where we take a moment where we should find out the coaches for this team and see, like, yo, dude, this is his prepared build. What are you doing? What are you guys up to over there?
Yeah, they just understand at a level we could never. Now, so I'm going to go for a third hatch again. Very nice. Gas probably needs to go down just about now, but nonetheless, I'm liking Zerg's opening a lot more than Protoss's. I'll tell you that much. Because Protoss is I'm kind of looking over here and going like, oh god, I can't take much more of this.
Well, I mean, I wonder. Actually, I would love for if Ife he got. Well, there's going to be the gas. So, like, if he got a 4th hatchery before, you know, gas, like, kind of really getting that larva production up. 2 links tried to block the ramp, but failed to do so, unfortunately. So the probe does get in. Doesn't see anything too crazy, which, I mean, I guess we're really looking for that.
Though. If you see nothing too crazy, you know there's nothing too crazy coming.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what you're looking for here, but just doing what they want to do instead. Cybercore now on the way. Nexus has not been started just yet, and that gateway is not constantly producing units, so I think we're going to see something very similar, where Justa is weak early on, and Ife is going to have a window to do something, but if you give Justa too much time, and he slams down all those gateways, you know, he can get out of control pretty fast. That Probe Scout does die down 6 o'clock, sees the 3rd base.
Yeah, so Pete Fuzzy Bros in chat saying Marines probably have to eat Zergling roadkill. I just assume their nutrients are injected. But yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like if you got like +1 right away, at least it kind of makes sense to get the gas so early. Maybe you just have the fastest possible +1 and like you come out, Zerg made links to defend and this do nothing, I don't know. But okay, we have Hydra dead, put it down after that probe died tactically, so he will be coming to knock on this wall. Only 1 cannon so far, there's still plenty of time to get more if Protoss figures out what's coming.
I just, in my heart, I want Ife to have been like, you're doing this again? This wasn't real. And just 3-hatch Hydra, kill him.
I mean, this Cybercore's doing
I
nothing
want
right
that
now.
so badly.
I don't know how long ago this gas was taking. It's probably taken, what, like 2 minutes 30? And it's done absolutely nothing for Protoss so far.
Yeah, it'll do something eventually. We are seeing gateways getting
2 on gas,
on
by
here.
the way.
So
2 on gas. Makes me run away a tick early. Okay, there's that Citadel, which was start earlier, but okay, he's going to try to have Zealot speed. +1 not on the way. But yeah, these Hydras are going to hit before that, I think. Although Zerg's still droning, curiously.
yeah, I think maybe Ife prepping up. If they're going to go for the big attack, wait until they have like both the upgrades. You know, going for speed first, so you can delay a little bit before you start slamming down Hydras. I see one in production now, so we'll see if this ends up being the path. We still know +1 being started, or if you were worried about Hydras, +1 armor can be pretty helpful with some of these zealots as well. But Citadel's about to finish up. We'll see if it is going to be like Temple Archives. That'd be interesting, or is it just going to be slam down the upgrades? The +1 starts now, but it takes a long time, so it won't be finished for quite a while. Zealot speed will definitely beat it.
Right, Zerg switching gears fully into Hydra production, and still no second cannon, right? So, I don't know. I mean, the game might just abruptly end. The Zealots will buy a lot of time, though, right? It's a lot of meat for Hydras to chew through.
See, the problem is that if these Zealots, if they have speed, it'll be more annoying. But depending on when everything hits, you do see the Hydra starting to move forward at this point. Like you said, there's the one cannon up at the front, so I think it might come down a little bit just to macro. But Ife is just looking like, I'm going to build something boring and normal, and we're going to be in a good spot here. Trying to go chip at the fort, but without range, taking free cannon shots, not exactly what you want to do right here. But still, Hydra's in production, nothing but. I think when range finishes, it gets a lot worse. Just being very patient, not bringing the Zealots out. So I at least like that. It hasn't added on more cannons yet.
Yeah, just controlling this perfectly so far as I'm concerned. And yeah, like you say, FA going for the Forge very aggressively. Thing is, if FA does kill it, there's no second Forge in the main at this time, so cannons could not be built. But honestly, Jster really taking this a bit too easy, not killing any additional cannons. No, Zealots will handle it, but maybe he'll be right. Another free Hydra. A really free Hydra, man, he wanted to die. Okay, another cannon. 2 more cannons finally coming up here. I think Protoss realizes the threat they're under. So continue to build Hydras here. Another hatchery going down in the bottom left as well.
That gives you that follow-up plan if things don't work out here, but yeah, I think we might run into the same problem, because if Ife goes for the attack and it fails, and he loses all the Hydras, as you see the fight starting to break out, with these Zealots moving out here, Hydra getting caught out, and this Force getting eliminated. They got that speed. They don't have +1, but not as important in this fight particularly, and this is going to be the problem I was worried about. If this Protoss army kills off a lot of these Hydras without losing,
yeah, so many
just could just go attack again.
So many Hydras have been fighting one at a time, and they're still just moving across the map. I assume you see these rally points all the way here, so I wouldn't be surprised if these Hydras kind of move command indicator and just stop here. But he needs to pull back and consolidate something, because there's a bunch of very angry Zealots coming down, a football team, if you will, to tackle all his drones into oblivion. If the pack of Zealots is a football team, the drone line is definitely in the end zone.
Honestly, I'm just impressed whenever I hear not an American say football and mean that kind of football, not soccer.
Well, I just assume most people who watch are Americans, so I got to roll with it. We don't have an end zone in Australia. To be honest, I don't even know. Isn't there an end zone in rugby? Yeah, I don't know if they call it that though. That's the thing. I don't follow rugby anymore. Do they call it that? Any other Australians?
Me neither. I'm American.
I think it's called something else. But anyway, I should probably talk about this game. GG. The Zealots just storm through. They're doing their little touchdown dance. And that's going to make it a 2-0 for Jster. Very, very nicely done. He knew his strat. He came in with Zealots. And, well, that's the whole story, I guess. So that's another one for DestrucToads, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Ooh, DestrucToads really taking the lead here. 8-5. They only need 2 more series to win this semi-finals and proceed to the finals. So let's jump into our next game, find out if they can pull it off. This will be our last series for the night. Of course, that means there's more matches to go for DestrucToads vs Attitude Plus, but that will be concluded at a later stream.
NCX, I get that reference. I appreciate it. I mean, it's ever see IT Crowd?
No. Well, technically I've seen snippets. I know what it's about, but
yeah, no, that's the reference we're going for here. But we got one more game to cast up. Let's introduce the players. Not Protoss Reserve for once.
Yes, finally, a Terran in the top right in the red. We have Thunder Dragon. What a name. And the bottom left in the blue we have Mercury Envy. I feel like these are like names that are auto-generated from 2 words, you know? Although Thunder Dragon is pretty good. Mercury Envy, I quite like it.
I feel like, I know not for StarCraft, but like maybe if I was playing like League of Legends, I would be like, is this a bot?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Because there's no space, it's properly cased, it's like just 2 words. It's like...
Well, this is a kind of experiment with both CPL teams, put the bot in, see how well it can do. So, Mercury Envy, by the way, for DestrucToads here, looking to keep that lead going, and Thunder Dragon for Attitude Plus.
Oh man, see, I don't want DestrucToads to win and be put into such a good spot to get off to the finals, but I'm not rooting for Terran, bro. Like, it's just not happening.
Oh, come on, man. You've got to root for the underdog. You've got to root for the underdog. Do you want, like, a toad just, like, you know, croaking all over you? I don't know what a toad would do, to be honest. Well, you know, in Australia, we have cane toads that spit venom at you. Spray venom, more like. Don't want that,
live in Australia? Yeah, that's terrifying. Why?
Everything. They're not even from Australia, dude. They're an introduced species.
Like that Simpsons episode where they just let one go and
yeah, exactly. Except that they brought them here on purpose. It's a whole story, but I don't think people want to hear about this in the StarCraft cast, so I'm not going to get into it. But it was just
not particularly.
Yeah.
Now we are seeing normal openers from both players so far. It is a gateway. It's in the base. I'm expecting gas to be taken reasonably soon as well, and we got a barracks. And it's like we're seeing normal stuff in this matchup. I think maybe you can't milk soup this matchup up as much without just dying immediately.
Yeah, that's basically like if Terran with a bunker up their ramp, it's like, okay, well, Protoss is going to take some bases. Good luck. And
yeah, you rush eBay for the +1 medic rush, and then you just get killed by the rage dragoons.
Yeah, and like if Protoss is building cannons, it's like the head chef is going to storm over and knock your pot off the stove. Like, what the hell are you doing? Okay, it's Proton up here, by the way. Sees a pretty good SimCity here. Going to do a bit of harass, nothing out of the ordinary. And the SCV Scout going as well. Okay, so we see a Zealot before core here. Nothing crazy. I mean, I kind of question it, honestly, on Eclipse. When you're getting this Scout so early and you see this, maybe it's worth it just cancelling and building it. Because you see Terrans not going for anything gasless. They have a SimCity up. I just think most of the time, this play is not going to be worth it for Protoss.
It probably isn't, but remember, you are talking tier 3. Forcing the micro ability always has a little bit of value. But also, like, if you know you're making the Zealot anyway...
Dude, N6 is carrying this cast from the chat, but keep talking for now. I'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah, no, I saw. Okay, so I think, honestly, getting the Zealot's not so bad, but yeah, if you wanted to cancel that Zealot, get that, like, get a faster nexus or any kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff you especially see best. They do that all the time. That's how they keep making all those gateway units, so many of them. They're real good about knowing when to add them more.
Well, hang on. This factory position is way out from the SimCity. It's a very nice SimCity, but if it's nowhere near the factory, it doesn't help you. So I think, okay, going to pull these SCVs here. I was going to say, I think Protoss will potentially do something, but these SCVs being pulled preemptively, probably going to hold this off. And 3 Marines, yeah, okay, I think Terran will be fine here. You have a point in tier 3 that like Zealots should probably have slightly stronger in the early game than they would be otherwise, but yeah, Thunder Dragon very prepared for this.
Yeah, I like the reaction, and it's like, this is what I mean. Like, it's not about what can it do damage. Like, maybe it does force your opponent to do what they want to, and I'm just so happy that we have 1 gateway, there's a core, we're making a nexus. Skip the range, which is a little extra greedy, but Zealot's going to try to fight here.
Nice pullback there by Thunder Dragon, very well done. Did lose one ACV a bit unnecessarily, but nonetheless, good job pushing that Zealot back. Needs to start CC though. Honestly, I like Protoss' follow-up. I don't know if he's 100% aware, but if he figured out that what Terran is like not building any more Marines and stuff, getting this Nexus so early is actually a really good move. Because against FD, this is obviously going to be weaker, but against what Terran's doing, this is actually really good.
Yeah, but I always think it's real risky to delay your range, because some of these things, that range is the only thing that kind of saves you. Where you need that,
he just interpreted what he saw at the ramp, that Terran was not building additional Marines, and he was correct, right? So you're right, it's risky, but whether he knew it or not, it was like the right time to do it. This bunker is in a terrible position though.
I mean, what's the wrong with this bunker once the barracks
needs to be in the middle, because the barracks can easily be hit by goons without the bunker even cutting off part of their range. You know, even worse, you have this like place you can run down there, but it's not so in the bunker's range. Units won't take as much damage, and still the barracks can be hit. But the tank is coming up, and siege mode right away in eBay, so it looks like Thunder Dragon content to play very conservative here, so probably not going to be a problem. Quote Half-Life 1 scientist, is probably not a problem, probably. Rotor coming up here just on 1 gate. I wonder if we'll see some Reaver action. Oh, look at that, the goons poking in, trying to get that tank. I missed it on the observing, sorry, but the tank survived, so you guys didn't miss anything important, don't worry.
And just little pop shots here, just tickling each other, no big deal. Now, I actually like very excited for what we see, because we've seen a lot of weird builds, a lot of like doing stuff, but right now both these players doing very normal, like exceptionally normal, which normally I'd be like, spice it up a little bit, but if this isn't Reaver and it ends up being 3 gateway observer, take a 3rd base, I'll be thrilled that we're seeing this out of tier 3 play.
Yeah, well, he's throwing down the 2nd gate, so on course so far for that. He does have a Zealot left over, he's not building another one. Oh, careful that siege mode. Okay, looks like he's out of range for now. Or, yeah, he's out of range. Oh, look at that, Terran getting that turret. Well, yeah, Terran, like I said, playing extremely conservative. Ooh. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Terran taking a second guess here and adding on factories. Because notice he doesn't have an academy, doesn't have an armory. Oh, okay, shuttle is coming up, so I think we'll see a support base shortly. Looks like it will be River after all, unless that shuttle is purely defensive. But
yeah, I hope it's not. I hope it's not for trying to think you're going to break through with some zealots and things. That's really not the path you want to be going here. But you know, we'll see what it ends up being for here. He could be for Reavers eventually, but the fact we haven't seen that support base started just yet, the observatory finishing now, it's, you know, I would prefer to get the observatory, see what your opponent's up to, reacting accordingly, because as we see the entire base, it's not a factory explosion and it's not armor.
Well, now I don't know what to think, because we have quite an early citadel coming up here, but there was no support base, so I think this shuttle is just if a push does come out for zealot bombs, but I question getting it so early. So, man, this is actually getting kind of greedy for Protoss, I have to say. Getting a third Nexus this early, with only 2 gates, getting the Citadel so early, if it is a 2-base short from Terran, which, you know, looks less and less likely, actually, it'll be very difficult for Protoss to defend it, I feel. But it looks like Terran is getting his armory. I assume we'll see an academy before too long. He's adding a second factory, but he's getting Vulture speed here. No mines yet.
Yeah, and actually Vulture speed would be pretty big right now. Those Dragoons are so far back, and you have that gap below the rack. You could just roll out, like, so quickly go through the bottom lane.
Well, if you look what Terran has, like, he could easily fight this army, actually. And this is why I was saying, if Terran was adding 3 mil factories right now, this is looking extremely dicey for Protoss. But that's not what he's doing, in fact. Thing is, if Protoss goes into just, like, 3-base mass gateway style, I would probably be fine. But if he intends on taking it all, I feel like he's really getting as much done as he can. And look at that, support base coming up, so I think we're going to go into this Templar drop style, I assume, with this Citadel here. I don't think he's going to make Reavers at this point in the game.
That's what I'm thinking too, the more I'm looking at things, because, you know, adding on all those gateways, kind of going the gateway man, support the speed shuttles are so helpful in doing that, especially if your opponent's like shelled up for a little while. Storm drops are so quick, we can get a lot done real fast, so I still, always the first thing I'm always looking for when I'm seeing this matchup, there's the Observer. Get in there, see if there's upgrades, see the factor count. It's so important to like, kind of glean your opponent's information, and it's not going in just yet, but it's at least in position.
There we go. Okay, it does go in very nice. Honestly, you see 2 factories at this point in the game on the F1 building, I think you know you're pretty good. You should be fine. Careful that turret. Oh, kind of turns around just in time. Yeah. Is that the sound the Observer makes?
That one got away because there was the Observer speed already done, so nice and quick. It's an easy retreat, and we're seeing more factories go down. It is a Reaver and Speed Shell, so we are going to see the Speed Shell harass the Reaver, just, you know, the late addition on. Still has some muscle, so if you want to throw it into your army, that seems okay. But yeah, I would prefer it. I think you already have the Citadel, move towards Templars, kind of skip the Reavers instead. I think that would have been a little bit better, but honestly, like, I have no complaints about how we're seeing either of these players play. Up to 6 factories now, still on that 1 armory, but you know, the weapons upgrade about halfway done, so we expect to see the move towards that science facility soon, or is this just going to be a big 2-base push on +1?
Well, at this time, I would like to see him get a starport and science facility, go up to +2 and get 7 factories, and he's still pushing on 2-base, just a lot later, bigger army, right? Because he's waited this long. I feel like 6 fac is kind of not as effective now. Terran going to have like a lot of tanks for this push, but at the same time, Protoss can have time to get Storm. Would have had time to get Arbiters probably if that's what he was going for, but he's not. I mean, the Reaver probably going to be not so much of an asset unless it gets really good hits. Generally, I think with this many tanks, it's hard to actually get anything done with it. Now, these tanks coming out here. Oh, siege up. Yeah, okay, that's going to see. Just hit them, don't run. Oh, brutal hits, annihilating all those units, kind of before they even knew what happened. And yeah, what does Protoss actually have? He has some Zealot Dragoon down here. He does have Zealot Speed, which is nice, and there's so few Vultures, but Vultures are rapidly going to fill up this army. And I don't know, Protoss really doesn't have much going for him. The Reaver is out. Now, where is it? Okay, it's at the top. I mean, if it gets some harass done, that's all well and good, but I don't know if harass is what he needs. He needs to deal with this push.
Yeah, I mean, it will be a speed shuttle very shortly, so it is taking a stop. I think maybe waiting for speed, give yourself no warning here. And I mean, Mercury is at least moving their army, getting in position. Work accounts for both sides looking pretty reasonable, all things considered at this point in the game. And no one's floating a lot of money, so both of these players definitely looking like they're playing a cleaner game. But Thunder Dragon unsieges, goes for the move out, has a couple Vultures, but, you know, not trying to flood mines everywhere. It's still a lot of muscle behind this as +1 is finished.
Oh, that's not a good time to siege. These Zealots getting run on top, but oh my god, that splash damage is so much damage. I think Terran still has enough to win this fight, but that was a fine trade to start things off for Protoss here. Oh, in fact, he's going to keep doubling down, hitting these tanks. I'm not sure if that last bit was worth it. Honestly, still this engage was good enough that I think Protoss going to be able to hold this push. Now, the Reaver was kind of waiting for that to be over to go in. If he dropped at the same time, he could have done huge damage. I understand it's hard to multitask, though. Dropping those Zealots. Now, what is his target here? Could go for the Armory pretty easily. It is right there. Obviously, SCV's being priority.
And no reaction so far. 2 big shots. Finally, here comes the reaction. Will it dud? Probably, probably. Yeah,
Vultures being the heroes. Imagine someone's like, hey, just catch this Scarab and I'll be fine, right? Just catch it, you'll be good. Oh, that Reaver's still doing work, though. Just destroys everything. Oh, my God. You know,
we were talking about that Reaver. We were like, nah, it feels late. It's not going to get that much damage done. Look how much it's already doing. This thing's paying for itself by far. Mercury still behind this. Mercury pretty good. So we're seeing Storm behind us as well, working on their Protoss upgrades as well, and somehow this Reaver's still like completely alive.
Oh, he's not done. He's not done. Here he comes. Uh-oh. Oh my God, even hits that SCV somehow. That takes out that tank. This Vulture's running around, but I mean, he's crushing the Vultures. Oh, he needs to pick up from that mine. That mine will kill him. Oh, he kills the mine anyway, and the SCV. And now I think he's not done. Okay, I thought he was going to leave. Oh my God, how many kills is
honestly, he's buying so much time. Look, the Arbiter Tribunal's halfway done now. Storms and +1 are nearly completion as well, and this supply lead. Remember, right when that push happened, when Thunder Dragoon tried to push out, this is so much different. Come on, save it.
It does. I really want to see its kill count before it died, but unfortunately it was building Scarabs the whole time. But wow, definitely well worth it. That did so much damage. And now, look at this Protoss army. I don't think Terran can actually hold this. If Protoss just attacks, which he's going to, he realizes how much damage he's done. He's like, alright, now for the killing blow. Couple mines doing good damage, but well, good damage to who? That's the question. And that's just a lot of Zealots. Once again, the football team, right?
Yeah, it's so strong here. These tanks trying to siege up in the bank, nothing on the high ground, and no more Vultures really to help buffer as things go down. The bunker at least going to do some damage, but reinforcements arrive for Protoss. And they're not even going for those SUVs at the natural, going inside, trying to get some more damage done. There's mines in that middle line of the main. Oh, please, just go. Send the Zealot in. It's worth it.
I feel like whenever Terran is losing, the bunker suddenly becomes heroic and like does a lot. This time does get taken out fairly quickly, and look at those goons just going to work. Well, that siege tank doing some damage, and now this is few enough goons that like SCVs actually just beat that. But he's going to bike through it, see what he can get done, and the reinforcements are coming as well. Oh gosh, a whole army of Dragoons coming in to finish this off. Now, Terran is still producing 6 factories. I'm amazed he can afford that, how many SCVs have died. But I mean, he's going to lose a lot more here. Look at that barracks though, tanking for the SCVs. What a hero.
Yeah, just trying to hold on the best you can, but Mercury behind this still, they just finished up researching stasis. So you got the Arbiters on the way, adding more gateways. Not taking a 4th base is the only thing I really want to see, but you're in such a good spot, just keep going.
He's not repairing. Okay, he finally realizes. Oh, but it's too late. That's dead. Nicely done.
Yeah, so much damage done, and yep. Tougher spot, you never know, but that game, both sides, I gotta say, looked pretty strong. I think if Thunder Dragon played against anyone else that we saw tonight, they're rolling over them. So,
Fate Zero, do you want the truth?
Sure.
Oh wait, no, I was gonna say that game was melee mode. No, I was in red and blue already, wasn't I? Never mind. You're right, it is top left bottom. Shame on me for doubting these players. Because I didn't do it manually at the start of the game, I'm like, no, I never did it. How do you know it's top left bottom? But you're right.
Because we never undid it, because they've been all playing on it. Because they're heroes. They are small-time CPL heroes for us.
You refer to the Reaver as Harass, but I'd like it to be renamed to MVP.
It definitely did the damage it needed to. I would have no opposition to saying that.
Definitely. Alright, in the top left. Let's see, in the blue, we have Mercury Envy, currently up on game in this best of 3. In the bottom right, we have Thunder Dragon in the red. Struggling here in this TVP. So here we are in game 2 in Fighting Spirit. I mean, Terran was doing okay until the Reaver blew up absolutely everything, right?
Yeah, it was the Reaver did a lot of damage on the back, but then like you said, the moment they pushed out, they sieged kind of in a bad position. Maybe if they raided for like 1 or 2 more rounds of Vultures, because they moved out with like very little.
Well, the first crime was unsieging every tank when the Protoss army is nearby, and then they kind of siege when speed starts to go on top of them. If they just fought unsieged, I think it would have been a fine fight on Super Terran. But look, that engagement wasn't bad enough that like Terran was losing per se. It was just like a decent engagement for the Protoss, and the game would have gone on. But then the Reaver came in and just killed absolutely everything.
Yeah, which, I mean, like honestly, the way until like those are very minor kind of things that can happen that you gotta work throughout. But before that, both players, the builds, worker production, spending their money, everything looked crisp on both sides. So very excited for this game too on Fighting.
Is this really tier 3? Like,
this is really tier 3 apparently.
Are you sure we didn't get like the wrong replay? Because like, I would have said there was a tier 2 game definitely. Like there was no major mistake that last game. They were both playing really well.
Yeah, maybe they're leading the charge. We'll see them in tier 2 next season. I would not be surprised even a little bit.
Well, hey, we're seeing the magic of CPL MMR, right? All the players are matched with people like roughly even. I really think that's been true. If we look at our first game today, both players, I would say, with a lot less solid builds and kind of progress through. This is like the top of CPL MMR in tier 3, I think. Honestly, these players, I both expect they will promote to tier 2, just looking at their play. I mean, even Terran had like the correct SimCity, and there we go. I mean, look, it could be a better setup, but whatever. It's not like he's putting the depot to the left or anything. So everything about this just looks really solid.
That is like your favorite nitpick. I swear it is.
Because it's the worst thing you can do in StarCraft. It's better if you like, I don't know, kill one of your starting workers and put a depot to the left. At least then you're flexing on your opponent. Like, depot to the left it's just the worst thing.
Depot to the left to make you bereft.
Yeah, that's right, it will. I need something more to express my anger on it. Depot not on the right, no blind wants a fight.
Oh man, that's you help coach. Like you can't say that stuff
True,
to these guys. You're supposed to be helping out here.
Well, if I was coaching someone and they like put a depot on the left, like, alright, we're not watching this replay anymore because I think there's something to work on, and just like make them play again. Now once again, this factory quite far from the SimCity. Sorry, you go.
Well, I was gonna say we are in Fighting Spirit. It's cross positions. It's so easy to get your third base and reasonably defend it. Are you wanting to see something different from either player, or do you like the way they play? It's just like, no, run it back, do the rematch.
Well, depending on what Protoss is doing, I definitely don't favor this 2-base powering style cross positions on Fighting Spirit. Because, you get that third up, it's very easy to defend. And playing for a 4 from cross positions is not too hard, depending where Protoss is expend to. And of course, it does all depend on what builds Protoss is doing. If Protoss is doing like 2-base tech or 2-base powering, the 2-base powering style from Terran is just the best response. We'll see what Thunder Dragon had in store. His push last game was very scary, it's just, unfortunately, other things happened.
And we are seeing, again, that very fast Nexus, which I think the Scout either did see or has an opportunity to see. Again, no range. So Mercury, I think this is the set play from Mercury. And here comes a Zealot. The Marines on the Ram not going to be enough. Another Machine Shop and the Lifted Barracks. So both players so far doing exactly what they did.
I don't like that Lifted Barracks at all. If Protoss had been following up Zealot Core Zealot, like another Zealot would show up and you'd kind of be like, oh, I only have 3 Marines, I'm not making any more, oh dear. I mean, as it stands, it's still kind of dicey for Terran. I don't think you should really be fighting with these Marines without more SCVs here, but Protoss intent on killing SCV, not really caring about the Marines. Oh, he's going to cancel this bunker? That's an interesting move, because the Goon is on the way. That's actually pretty nice. Man, look at that Zealot micro, though. Are we really sure this is tier 3? Damn. And not bad micro from Terran either, by any means.
No, yeah, both sides is definitely playing up. I would not be super comfortable playing against either of them. Now, we do see the Dragoon finally kills out that SCV Scout that's in the base, and that SCV was still in range. It still sees no range.
Well, you know
that's a little bit interesting. Ooh, yes. Fast Robo. Now we're in there. Now we're adding some interesting stuff to the game.
Look at those pros. They can't handle it.
Confused.
You know what's really interesting there? I'm kind of impressed by Thunder Dragon. He saw that the Dragoon was hitting his SCV in the base, so he didn't rush to build another bunker. He built the CC right away, which is a really high-level type response, to be honest. Like, I'm very impressed by that. Because you'd think, your bunker just got killed by the Zealot, you'd be like, oh crap, I need to build another one. But he saw the first Goon just harassing his SCV, it wasn't coming his way, so he's like, alright, no problem. Alright, now Protoss is going to try and put the pressure on, but the tank is already out. eBay coming up again, Thunder Dragon looking to save play, super safe here. Yeah, anytime you see Terran go for this fast eBay, siege mode, and turrets, it just says to me that they're thinking of 2-base. Because they're just not getting out there and getting like the map control, seeing what Protoss is doing. They're just like, alright, I'm sitting on my 2-base, I'm getting my stuff. That poor Zealot, he never stood a chance.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Now, I am actually very intrigued to see what this Robo is going to be.
I keep doing that. I never used to do that. How do I do it now? Anyway. Yes, this Robo. I mean, I feel like he has to be getting the Reaver, otherwise it's not worth getting it so fast.
Oh, for sure. The only other thing, which, I mean, it's already past that point if you were going for a fast DT drop. The Artosis is Piss Him Off Classic. I think that would be the other reasonable option to go for here, but... I think we're going with something a lot more standard here. We are seeing that observatory pretty quick, so I wonder if we see Mercury get that observer fast in the base and just see again like, oh, you got the eBay again, you just low factory count, didn't get the armory, like they could get that info a little quicker. They could take that third base, they can go take corner base, like get really prepared for a macro game and be set up for life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of this Robo before range as well. Like if Terran doesn't actually like do anything, I guess it doesn't matter in the long run. He'll have an observer slightly faster in the Terran base, but again, these turrets going up. I mean, Terran doing their utmost to deny scouting here. Looks like he was setting up for a Reaver actually. Look at this, his turret's in position, tanking is sieging in the main. Although the Marine's still in the bunker, so that might be a bit of an error if there was a Reaver coming, but nonetheless, yeah, it really looks like he was anticipating Reaver here, which honestly, I don't know how much he actually saw. We didn't actually see that Robo, but based on what we saw as casters, it did make sense.
Yeah, not like if this is the only thing about like getting range. And every time I see it late, you get a little dangerous. But remember, we saw early on, that Zealot was harassing, the barracks got lifted, so you know there's no more Marines coming. And so if you just write off like, I don't think I need the range, I guess you can delay it as long as you have it when you need it. So it's like, it feels like extra greedy, but you know, seeing that barracks get lifted, maybe we're seeing like really like much higher level responses to things than we are used to seeing at this level of play. Yeah. That's very exciting.
NCX says his pet llama is stealing his keyboard. I wonder what kind of life he leads, man.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said.
We have a Discord, man. I want to see pictures. Throw it in. Throw it in general chat. We all see it.
Okay, once again, this fast vulture speed, although he does have mines already this time, I believe. I thought I saw him researching that, but I'm not sure. Is Observer going to come up in here?
I don't think so, right? Because he has siege mode. He hasn't had time for 3 upgrades.
He didn't just get mines? I mean, I feel like he would have had time. Maybe you're right. I just thought I saw it in the production tab, but I didn't comment at the time, did I? So.
Yeah, everything could be fine though. Still, Armory does finish up. The Observer already in here. Second one moving out as well. So
is really it in here? I'm looking at it right now, and it's kind of just chilling. Hasn't seen anything of import except this eBay.
It's a really nice eBay though. It's well constructed.
He's just having a look at it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Now he's done with that. Couldn't handle our ridicule any longer. Look at that turret. Ooh, steers around that very nicely. Still needs to keep looking though, because he has no idea what Terran's doing. And Terran is adding up this third factory, or is it the fourth one actually? Yeah, it's the third one. So I mean, Terran looking like he's going to be going for 2-base transfer again. Again, we see the shuttle. I want to see the support bay a bit faster this time. I highly doubt Mercury's going to recreate his success from the first game though. Although, what's going on with this Citadel? Did he get Zealot speed already? I don't think he did.
No, it's just on the way right now.
Okay, I like that support bay timing a lot more though. Where is it? Oh, it's the top.
Yeah, so I actually wonder, like, we always think go to observers, see the factory count, armory, is it 1 or 2, is there science facility, all the stuff for the indication for later. I think this observer was first thing is like, where can I put that Reaver? Hold up. Yeah. Find the Reaver opening.
Yeah, true. And look, it does see 4 factories here, right? So Terran not going for a particularly fast, 5 factories. So Terran committing really he's going to be pushing here. And I expect we'll see a 6 again in just a moment. Here it comes. So yeah, we do have Terran going for that 2-base push again.
Alright, well, the observer is in here, gets all that information you're looking for, and just like last time, is all tanks. So, you know, if you get yourself in a good position, especially with this bridge, you know, without the vultures or any kind of map control, it's going to be a little hard for Thunder Dragon to push out and not put themselves potentially in danger, but still, you can see the macro of both players. Thunder Dragon's money's so low constantly, and they're not queuing up like the 5. They're doing a great job of just building up their army so far, so
well,
we'll see what ends up being.
Right? Both players really good macro. And look at this base layout for Terran as well. Like, yeah, Prototh's not bad by any means, but Terran's is very neat. Like, you know, never mind other aspects of the game, but if it was a pro playing, I would say the base layout wouldn't necessarily differ at all. So, I'm really impressed by that.
The highest praise you can get from the blind, he likes your buildings. He likes your layout.
Like, I don't like the Zealot Sim City. That wasn't perfect. But the factory positioning, the depots, like everything like that, I'm really impressed by how neat he's keeping everything. Now the Reaver is out. Speed is on the way. Picking up those Zealots. Where's the other one?
Still no mines research for these vultures though. That's definitely
any wronger about that.
Very wrong.
It's still not even done. Just rubbing it in my face. Now look at this. Terran gonna start.
It's not even started, man. It's not even started. That's the problem.
Oh, nice angle there, but Protoss paying attention this time. Not going to get caught that easily. Okay, well. These Proto-Goons are playing a dangerous game without an observer to back them up, seeing how close these tanks are. And also, it's a mostly Goon army here. Did he get Zealot speed already? Okay,
Yep,
he did.
already done.
But he's only got one Zealot. The round is coming. Looks like Protoss barely getting his stuff in order before this push starts. But I mean, I know these goons are in a lot of danger right now. They don't even realize it. Oh my god, this is going to be brutal.
Well, it's just a little bit here, and now you know the attention's up at the front. This could be your opportunity to take that speed shuttle once speed finishes, which it just did. It's got the 2 Zealots and Reaver again, so if you want to recreate the magic, do it while Thunder Dragoon's feeling real good about moving out and micro and all their stuff, because that observer is by the mineral line. It sees that there's not that much defense. Really, it's just that one tank by the CC you really got to worry about.
Well, this is kind of difficult for Protoss to engage, because he can't drop the Reaver on the tank because of the turrets. And if you drop the Zealots, it gives Terran more time to react. So, I don't know, it seems a bit harder for Protoss to get in here. Alright, now, the big move out coming from Terran. Honestly, the move probably for Protoss, no, Protoss, I was just going to say, the move is probably to bring this Reaver back and help defend, because I don't really see how this is going to work out. Like, I think he's just going to lose the Reaver. Well, he's going right in there. Nah, see, that's the exact spot you don't want to drop. But hey, he has Zealot speed, I guess, so they can get to work on that tank. But meanwhile, the Protoss army getting absolutely decimated during the main engagement. The Reaver drops. That tank is going to get taken out. Only takes one shot on the Reaver, so that's not too bad. But I mean, the Protoss army is actually just gone now. The Zealots going to fight Vultures on their own, which is never a good time for the Zealots. Oh, but the Reaver going to get in here, start getting shots on this mineral line. Where's it going right now? Is it out of Scarabs already? I didn't think it took that many shots.
No, it has plenty left, just not firing them.
Picks up, don't want to lose that shuttle. He keeps it alive, barely. Doesn't even want to drop the Reaver. Honestly, these Vultures will pick off that Reaver if he drops it, so... Oh, a great drag though. That was a nice move. But at the same time, the Protoss army pushed back to his natural. Terran just needs to take that position. He'll be dominating. I really like Terran to build a turret under this shuttle. That'd be great. But yeah, look at this. He can't drop this. Even these 4 Vultures will kill him.
Yeah, realistically, the big problem we're seeing though is like during that attack, you're trying to micro harass, you're trying to fight up at the front, and Mercury Envy's macro definitely slipped up there, almost hitting 2,000 at the point. They have plenty of gateway production, so they can catch up reasonably quick, but that means there wasn't reinforcements. So
8 HP. Oh, I thought that was going to die for sure. But it does get out. Okay, he gets the Reaver out, and he's going to need it if he's going to break this. Because I mean, what does he got? He's got a bunch of goons, just a few Zealots. This is just so much tanks. Like, what's Protoss going to do against this? Except drop stuff on top of it, which I think is the only move. Where's the shuttle gone? It's just chilling right now. That Reaver does not want to come back and help in the Protoss hour of need. I guess the Reaver is just a robot. He's not really a Protoss.
It's another round of Dragoons though, so these Vultures are going to have a little trouble getting anything done. He's not making any moves to get towards 12, so you can see actually the tanks are far enough away that he can kind of spread out here. So I think if Thunder tries to go across this bridge, it's a great opportunity for Mercury to take the good fight, but we'll see if he is a little bit impatient, wants to go for it, because right now he's just in a beautiful spot. Big
piece of the puzzle that's missing for Thunder Dragon here is building turrets with this push. If Mercury just builds more shuttles, put Zealots in them, I don't see what Thunder could do to stop it. Like, you just drop all over these tanks and that's it. But he's not doing that. His other shuttle is just like staying home. And look how many reinforcements are coming out from Thunder Dragon. Where are these Vultures going? I'm not sure why he's anticipating an attack from that direction, but nonetheless, it's never a bad thing to lay mines wherever they are, to be honest, unless they're on top of your own tanks. Just chipping away to pylon, 1 unit at a time. Okay, Stargate coming up, so it's going to be Arbiter eventually, but I don't think he really has time for that.
It's going to be a wild probe. The probe does sneak out to the top right.
Showed me questioning those mines. I guess they're in the perfect spot, huh? Man,
I mean, it's the only way you're going to get units to come out is by that 12 o'clock. So really, it's the place you're looking for, I would assume. But yeah, now there's no Zealots in. You can see starting to go across that bridge. Didn't have that concave that I was praising earlier because there's so many Dragoons up at 12 to defend that base. And now Thunder's position is really going to start choking out. It's going to make reinforcing really difficult here. And since he didn't add on more like shuttles, like you're saying, to drop, maybe that could be your way through. Finally, the Reaver coming back to action.
Oh, okay, they've heard the call. He's having the hero arc where, you know, he gets suppressed and is drinking for a while and someone visits and like, we really need you. But I mean, already these goons are falling. It's looking very dire for Protoss. That's just so much stuff there. Yeah, the only answer is air, because there's no air here whatsoever. But one shuttle I feel like not going to be enough. And the goons already getting trapped in here and hit by these tanks. The other goons desperately trying to get through that minefield. I can't believe Nebulime didn't believe in that minefield, because it's actually the greatest thing ever right now. Okay, but now the shuttle's here. The Reaver holding the high ground. I guess eventually these goons will clear it up, but I mean, they've missed their window. This natural's going to fall. Terra could easily take out the 12 at any time, but sending Vultures there to kill all the probes.
Yeah, the only thing you got coming on this, like, this push is going well. Obviously, he needs attention, but the macro definitely falling off for Thunder as he's kind of pushing forward, but still at least more reinforcements. There are goons from the back, but goons are not zealots, and that's too many tanks. You cannot keep moving forward at this point here. So hopefully has the restraint. The Terran army now at 1-1, and while that supply, like, is still...
Here's the shuttle with 4 zealots in it. This is exactly what he needed, but now there's a bunch of vultures to pick this off, actually. And the goons at the back getting engaged by this other little Terran force, not able to assist in the main engagement. It looks like they will, I don't know, lose that fight, but the main Protoss army on the left doesn't engage after all. Oh, the tank's sieging up, destroying the goons on the right easily. Oh, only one gets away. GG. Mercury realizes he's got nothing left.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that game so much. Both players stuck to their guns, played the same style. This time, the Reaver didn't do everything. There wasn't that kind of flood and engage from Thunder, and he just kind of actually won that big fight right outside the base, rolled up to his opponent's base, and turned the tables. Like, you know, attacking the natural, it's a great strategy. Let's do that.
Alright, so that ties us up 1-1. So we're going to go into that game 3 for this final best of 3 of the night.
I'm very excited that these players got to that final game. Make sure we end on a nice climactic series and then play on Ascension, which I feel like a lot of players don't really know a lot about. So we'll see if these guys got anything special planned for us.
Alright, here we are in the bottom left. In the red, we have Thunder Dragon. And the bottom right, in the blue, we have Mercury Envy. Here on Ascension, so far Mercury Envy favouring Reavers a lot, and I feel they're quite good on Ascension. We'll see if Thunder Dragon pulls anything different either, because honestly both players doing like basically the exact same build. Which, I mean, if they both just keep doing it, there's nothing wrong with that. But is there some kind of exploit here? Honestly, I feel like if Mercury Envy wises up to the fact his opponent's only doing 2 base pushes and just goes like 2 base powering, he will crush it.
Honestly, like, even just think it's simpler about exploitation. He's been going Zealot first anyway. This is a map without a ramp, close distances. And if Thunder does that 3 Marine lift thing, you go make 2 Zealots this time, that alone could just put you in a much different world.
Absolutely. Forward gateway placement combined with that I think would be a good move here, but I don't think it's going to go for it. Already putting the first part in the base. Look, if that's what they practice and that's what they're good at, nothing wrong with sticking with the same build, just, you know, theorizing what could be done to get an advantage here in this semi-finals game, or it's also important.
Well, I say if you want to really be abusive of your opponent, if you think they're just being very conservative, Nexus first. Screw it.
Actually, that is an excellent option too, but it does take practice to understand what you're following up with from that. So I definitely wouldn't recommend Nexus first if it's unpracticed. And I would say most Tier 3 players probably haven't had much of a chance to work on that. Although are these Tier 3 players? I mean, that's the question.
I guess that's true. Now, I actually, like, since we, you know, we're seeing a very similar openings, we could talk a little stuff like that. I'm actually very surprised there aren't more Tier 3 players that do just always do Nexus or CC first. Because you figured a lot of games you're not going to get punished for doing it. It sounds like a good, like, easy, cheesy way to get some free advantage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But the thing is, a lot of the time people in lower tiers are just doing, like, you know, the basic cheese strategies, like the 9 pool, the 9 gates. I don't know about Terran, maybe like sometimes doing an 8 racks, but probably more likely doing 2-fac. And like, yes, Nexus First is supposed to be good against 2-fac, but if you don't know what you're doing Nexus First, I think it would actually be quite hard to stop a 2-fac. So I'm not so sure. I'm not convinced. And also consider that most people, if they've only practiced on ladder before joining CPL mostly, are probably going to be like pretty defensive about cheese, because that's mostly what people do on ladder.
It's completely fair. Now we are seeing that first Zealot come out, and it looks like Mercury is going to get that first Scout, where Thunder will not get that same luxury. So come on, make that second Zealot. I would love this adaptation here.
Nope.
And we are seeing Cybercore and
he does it because I said no. That's why he did it. But I mean, okay. Thunder Dragon again with a very nice city, and the factory's not as far away this time. As long as he doesn't lift the barracks, I think Thunder Dragon's still looking fine against this. And this is the problem. This is why Mercury Envy didn't do it the other 2 games. As I was saying, when Terran's doing a normal build, it's generally not advantageous to Protoss to go for this. Ooh, I like that little peck he gave the Marine. 1 more, and then a Zealot can actually finish that off in 2. But like I was saying, it's not actually advantageous for Protoss to go for these Zealots if Terran's just doing the normal defensive build and doesn't like screw up the micro. And so unless he does just lift again so fast, I don't think it's really going to be worth it.
Well, this SCV Scout does intercept that Zealot, so notice that there's one coming, but hasn't seen the one that's much closer to the base just yet. Barracks has not been lifted, but still only 3 Marines.
Yeah, and he's not producing anymore. Sees the Zealot now. He really needs to start producing Marines immediately upon seeing the Zealot. This probe really playing with its life here. Is he going to be able to deny this bunker? Honestly, the bunker's not the main priority because you can just run past it. But he does kill that SCV, but that Zealot is going to die very soon. Nice micro there by Thunder Dragon. Honestly, I think it's a bit of a mistake by Mercury to go for the bunker so obsessively when he could just be charging the Marines and going into the main. Because you can just run past the bunker. If there's a Zealot already in your main, you don't leave 3 Marines in the bunker because then that Zealot's killing all your SCVs. And now it's going to finish. Well, let's see. Oh, he does get one.
Yep. Yeah, still probe does go down. Zealot does see what's going on. Isn't going to try to running CA info, and we are seeing very different builds, I think, so far. The Nexus is just going to start now, but range already well on the way. It's not too gate or anything too aggressive, but I think Mercury, respecting that is a 3-player map, a little bit different. Maybe trying to get that early advantage, or just respecting that maybe Thunder's going to do something a little more aggressive themselves.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake from Thunder Dragon during this. He still only has 1 on gas, and I think that's because he got distracted. Putting him back on now, but that means, you know, he's not going to be able to add another factory or anything like that very fast. If he builds an armory right now, okay, that's deep. Okay, I was going to say, if he builds an armory right now, he cannot build a second tank. He's having to build vultures. Now we see the fast robo again. Man, if he goes Reaver again, honestly, I think Thunder Dragon's got it figured out. If he goes Reaver again, I don't think Mercury's going to win this game.
Well, I don't know. This map definitely a lot more room, I think, to play with Reavers to get something to happen. So I think if you go for it quickly, now if you really like this Reaver play, you're very committed to doing it. I wouldn't be opposed to you going for the Reaver before the ops. Like the shuttle will scout for you as well. Like you're slowing things down and getting the observer, so that could always be an option as well.
No, I agree with you that if he goes 1 gate Robo straight to Reaver, he can definitely get harass done. But if he does the same thing where he slowly gets this Reaver and he comes into harass just as Terran's getting ready to move out, I think he will 100% lose this game because Terran's going to be prepared for that this time.
Yeah, and the Nexus being a little bit slower, that Mercury's generic macro is not going to be quite as good. Getting your 3rd base here as well, a little bit harder to defend if Thunder does decide to get some speed vultures on the map.
This is a brave tank fighting Spoon on high ground. He's able to pull back though. And that's actually really hard SimCity for pros to get into because the goons have to kind of come up and then back down to get through the barracks there. They can fit through at the top though, just so you know. Man, that tank needs to be repaired. He's brave.
It was being repaired a tiny bit, then it stopped. I don't know why.
Just giving it that little sheen of paint to protect it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how that works, but you know, why not? Siege mode does finish up now for our Terran player, and we are seeing units being made. It's going to be observers again off 2 gateways, so expecting that 3rd Nexus to come up reasonably soon. But
same build.
He's going to try and do it. Yeah, but remember, a slightly less greedy opening. So the same build, but it's going to be a little bit worse spot. And look, Citadel's coming up, so
that's what I mean.
You know,
when I say same build, very Citadel timing is exactly the same. He's going to get a 3rd base in just a minute, and then the support bay. And like I was saying, I don't think it's going to work out. I think Terran is going to be happy to do the exact same thing. Just make sure he has his turret ring because he knows the Reaver's coming. As long as he gets good engaged to start with, I mean, he'll be looking good, I think, here.
Yeah, we're going to see that 3rd Nexus go down over at that 3 o'clock base. So, you know, I would love to just not see the Reaver. Like, if it is a slow build, like you're saying, like, it's not going to get done.
Now. Yeah. Faster arbiter timing, absolutely, and you just delay for arbiter. Once the arbiter's out, holding this push becomes so much easier. Well, what's that? It's a gateway, isn't it? We don't see his pull pay yet. Maybe he will pass on the Reaver this time. But I can't blame him for trying it 2nd game after it did so well in the 1st game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but, like, yeah, arbiter especially I would like to see, because there's multiple paths here, but realistically, it's irresponsible to take half of them. Right?
Yeah,
because like
fair.
it's too thin, it's hard to move your army through, especially later in the game. So if you know your opponent's like being safe, going through these high grounds and things, stasis, when you know where your opponent's army is going to be, is so much stronger.
Definitely. Well, you know, one thing for Protoss is like if you have observers as well, seeing the Terran army, like it's just like, well, if you know when they're sieging and unsieging, it's like half the battle right there. Now, okay, he does go for the archives right away. I'm liking it. Will we see a Stargate? If he has storms in time for the push, that's totally fine too. That's a great way to stop a 2-base push. Now, we are just assuming Terran's going to do the same thing, but I have to say I'd be very surprised if he deviates. 2nd guess is up, so I think we're going to see these factories being added in shortly here.
Yeah, I think we are seeing a little bit of a change. I think these mines are faster. I don't know if he... Oh, he did get vulture speed, right?
He did. Which I really question getting that so fast, because it's not like he's using it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess to make sure he doesn't forget. But yeah, he's factory 3 and 4 added. I expect to see 5 and 6 shortly as well. Now, Protoss not probing as much this game for sure. I'm not sure where the money went. Maybe he got his gates faster, but I have to say his army not looking too impressive if that's so.
Yeah, definitely. I think the way this is built out, maybe not at the same comfort level we saw with the build we saw in the first couple games. That could be from this for the later natural, the later third Nexus, trying to, it's like, oh, I want to get storms, like 200 for archives. You're kind of, changing things, the order of things a little bit. So, could be something as simple as that as well.
Yeah, he is going straight for Storm here now. He does need a shuttle, I think, with that, but nonetheless, that should be what he needs to stop this push, especially if you can abuse these ramps or potentially chokes. It can be very effective against 2-base push. And yeah, Terran is going for the exact same thing. You're up to 6 factories. Now, it might work into his favor if Terran's expecting a Reaper and leaves a few units behind here as well. And maybe the way Terran moves across the map. And like, Protoss is not probing at all right now. He's just full into gateway production. He's going to need more gates for that, though. Well, there's one.
Yeah, we are. You can see that full preparation. It's the same 2 turrets and 1 tank by your main mineral line setup that we saw before. So definitely anticipating the Reaver, but yeah, we know it's not going to come.
Yeah, so I like that Protoss is actually like adapted. I mean, I was very worried at the start of the game, if you recall, but now I'm thinking, okay, Protoss has realized this is all Terran's doing. I just need to counter that and it'll be good. And I think Protoss is going to take this one. I don't know. That's my prediction at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm liking the order of things better. Stargate on the way, so Arbiter production will be an option soon. Somehow this SCV magoos their way through the bottom path is going to get some nice good scouting info, because going right past all the Protoss army, that would be in every other location.
Well, he's going to see these Templar. That's actually pretty huge here. That's actually a big deal, because now Terran will know to watch out for that. Okay, Stargate is coming up as well, so Protoss does have a plan behind this. Going to get Arbiter eventually. I think he's going to need a third gas though. Now Storm is done. Darren Amulet on the way. Terran probably a bit nervous about seeing that. But honestly, if you hitch up and take a third here, I think that's a fine play for Terran in this scenario. Because it's not like Protoss has any great economy. He's only like 20 supply ahead, which is pretty normal.
Yeah, but I think taking this third is going to be a little bit difficult, right? The Observer is going to be able to see the move out. The Templar are now here, so if everything consolidates on that high ground, and you want to just like push down, because remember, there's one Zealot in the mineral line, so you're going to really know what's going on. You're going to be able to force your opponent out. And Thunder Dragon, who some of the units getting a little pathing weird, going up here, and the Vultures find the little group of stuff at the top, but not the Templar. They're being held back. So,
whoa, hang on. Terran, yeah, that one Zealot did not actually work out for the Protoss, as it turned out. The no scans for Terran here, by the way, so if Protoss mixes in a single DT, or God forbid an Arbiter come out, that's going to be real tough for Terran here. But look at this, Protoss looks like he's getting ready for engagement. Now, I'd be impressed if Terran does just go for the third here, but he's not sending an STV, so I think he's still going to try and push, which I think might be a mistake. But let's see. If he gets a good engage, anything's possible, and if Protoss just runs right into him.
Yeah, just has to be careful here. Cannot lose those Templar to anything silly right now, but those mines, I like that they are on that south side of the ramp. Not going to be easy to drag them into the tanks the way you would want to with some of these Zealots, but yeah, big reinforcements. I think a fight is going to be happening here quite soon, but Arbiter's nearing completion now. And Thunder Dragon's macro is kind of falling off as he's really concerned about this area, trying to inch up, and I think it's going to force the engage from Mercury, or are they going to peel back a little bit instead?
I think it's probably wise not to engage there. I don't think it would have worked out for Protoss. But he's delaying and getting up on this high ground as much as he can, which is a good move. And if he can strike when he's half on the high ground, half not, that would probably be strong. So far, just pulling back though. Maybe pulling back a bit over much. But again, if Protoss just buys time, he's fine here, because Terran not making a move for a third base either. And like we were saying, if an Arbiter comes out, the game is probably going to be over. Okay, well, here we go. Storm. Oh, it's decent Storm. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, those Vultures getting decimated. The tank sieging up in the back though, and there's not many Zealots left of this. Oh, targets the Templar very nice with the Vultures. Targets the other one, and that one does not have enough energy, and now this Protoss having getting shredded. Nice targeting by Protoss and Terran, and this is why you need the Templars in a shuttle, because the Vultures can easily pick them off when they're not. And now...
Well,
sorry?
Yeah, I mean, the shuttle had 4 Zealots that wasn't involved in the fight, dropping down
good
tanks,
too.
causing some chaos. Yeah, that would have been good to begin with, but that's why I wanted that engagement right when that first tank went up the ramp, because the Vultures weren't in position to pick off the Templars quite so easily, and everything was still very grouped up. The storms become a lot easier. There's plenty of energy backed up, but yeah, you still save all the Dragoons at least, still got the shuttle with these Zealots, and we got Arbiters in the way, still adding more gateways. I wouldn't mind seeing a probe move to the 12, start preparing to take that 4th base, because you just lost control of that area. You have to anticipate a 3rd base coming out soon, or a push is on your way. And either way, getting that probe out of the base now might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Terran's macro is falling apart completely during this, so even though he won that fight, he's still like 20 to 30 behind the supply. Protoss not macroing great, but doing a slightly better job. Man, Terran taking this path, which is surprising to me. It is technically shorter, but it's a lot harder to move through here. A lot more risky, I would say. And honestly, his army's like ripe for the picking right now if Protoss got his stuff together. Where's this shuttle going to go? I guess he's going to check out if there's third, which is fine move. He doesn't serve for that. Okay, but tanks moving forward on their own. The Vulture's way back, and the Zealots are going to get right on top of them. Oh, that might be a critical mistake from Terran. Where are the Vultures? They're not taking part at all. And the Goons coming in with a flank as well. No Templars here, though. All these Vultures just idle. Oh gosh.
Yeah, shuttle behind also idle, so tanks do get the siege up. There's not a lot of Zealots trying to help out here. Vulture's doing enough, but the Zealots do finally get in. Still no storms anywhere nearby. The Templars so far back at this point. But Thunder Dragon's army is still pretty intimidating. These tanks do so much damage, and it does look like Protoss gonna get the worst end of that. Gonna have to back off, and that just killed off everything. Free access to put some pressure on that natural, which... How much can you hit with siege tanks across like left to right?
You can probably hit that pylon, and like definitely in the base, like to the right of those minerals, you can hit that gate and pylon, but like that's it. You're not doing much else than that. See, here's the thing though, Protoss can really hold this choke with storms. The shuttle is coming back. Gonna drop on top of those tanks right now, actually. And like, yeah, although Terran won that previous engagement, I think he's kind of lost the tank count he needed to keep pushing forward here, and there's still no third from Terran, despite a huge amount of minerals he has in the bank. And the Arbiter is out. Just a matter of whether it actually comes to fight.
Yeah,
no
it would
scans.
be good to do.
There's no scans whatsoever. If the Arbiter comes to the fight, the game's just instantly over. But it's not doing anything right now. Okay, here it comes, here it comes. Oh, Terran's probably like, wait, what's happening? No!
Yeah, the worst feeling possible. The fact that you don't see the scan now, you're like, wait a second, hold up.
Oh yeah, does Protoss even realize how screwed Terran is? Now you can see sometimes the units escape the Arbiter a bit. You know, mines can do something.
That gave me anxiety, all those mines on the Zealots. I'm like, it's gonna kill everything.
Oh, I've got a clip to send you when this is over for anxiety. Nonetheless. So, a lot of Zealots get taken out by mines there, but all the tanks are gone, and I said it like 2 or 3 times, I've said it again, there's still no third base from Terran, so it doesn't matter if he's trading units. Eventually he's going to run out of money, and Protoss going to be on 3 bases, and that'll be enough. Protoss is finally setting that probe to the 12 now that he knows he's helped this push as well, very nice. Is stasis research? Not that he really wants it when his cloaked units just kill everything.
I'm not sure, but the biggest thing I'm looking at right now, Mercury, they made this similar to third base. They've never mined gas from it. They're just noticing now that it was like, why am I so broke? I can't make more arbiters.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue. But hey, you got the minerals, you can build Nexus, you can build cannons. Oh, I say build cannons, but he's only starting his first forge now. Where is it? I don't even know where he built that. Oh, in the main. Oh no, wait, he has a forge. What am I saying? Does he have +1? It does not. In recall being
but
researched,
it's pretty far. It's pretty far on the way. So
yeah, recall being researched here, and that may end up being the killing blow. All these mines, though. Oh, no, there is them over there. Not quite in range. Oh, decent mine here. Well, hang on, does he have turrets up at this location? He doesn't have any detection up here either, but scans are actually finished, so he can try and do this with scans. With no ETA to actually hit the Arbiter, it's kind of not enough. A lot of mines here, though. Well, those tanks need to get out of there. Those tanks need to get out of there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah. No quick reaction on that scan, so just some units getting donated here. And this supply for most of this game has been pretty close. Mercury up by like 10, 20, 30, but then the fights keep whittling back. Now the supply is really starting to expand for the Protoss here. We got Nexus taken up at the 12, so it's still that the lack of a third base. Protoss really hitting their stride and getting all the tech they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, okay, there's the scan that goes down, but Terran really couldn't afford to lose those tanks. We have those 4 tanks, different stories. Now I'm looking at this and it's like, well, he's never getting up on this high ground, I don't think. It's just not going to happen. Arbiter going forward, again, I'm not sure if he actually has stasis, but recall's about to finish. It's probably what he's holding out for. And honestly, a recall in the main might end the game. There's a little bit of defense with these 2 tanks, but I don't see any mines. The CC built in that weird location for some reason instead of trying to take this high ground. If he flags the CC there, Protoss is going to like run a Zealot past there sooner or later. That base is not going to survive. And now watch the game go like 30 minutes longer because Protoss never finds his base. Now that I've said it.
Yeah, honestly, what you're really looking for though is just holding on to this natural. Like, stasis would be good, but I think at some point you get like one more round of Zealots and actually look at all this giant probe transfer up to the 12. Just the lack of any vision at all. It's like a lot of reinforcements coming back down. A couple mines do pop up, but not doing too much here. I think these Zealots come by. We're going to see the move go through. But that Arbiter moved out of position, but a mine is seeing it. It's now actually everything's seeing it all over the place.
Yeah, but what can Terran do about it? He can see it. But okay, well hang on. If he recalls right on top of the army, that's not going to work out at all for Protoss.
He's gonna try it.
Well, in the middle line, at least splash damage plus CVs. Okay, no, he's taking his time moving around. That's the right thing to do. If your armor's not dying, you might as well find the best possible spot to recall. It's quite tanky. Don't recall there. Don't recall there. He doesn't even need those SCVs. He's about to mine out. Okay, here we go. And some mines have been set up as well, so Terran aware of this threat. Okay, recall's on top of the factories, but it's a dead recall because he moves out of the way after spending the energy. Unfortunate. For those who don't know, if you issue a move command after casting recall, you will cancel it, so wasted it there. But hey, he forced Terran to scramble. I'm sure Terran's sweating after that.
Yeah, not exactly what you're looking for here, but, you know, it's a little group of Protoss, so up by that newly minted CC, that's, you know, going to be hard to actually defend. Arbiter's going to come by and just really make sure that he locates that base. A bunch of Nexus being taken all over the map as well, and, like, both players really kind of be in a hard spot here. SCV's getting transferred, but this can be the move.
Yep, this base will die. I mean, there's only 3 goons here, so the CC can fly away at least. Mine's doing some value, but yeah, this is just not going to happen. I'm just thinking, if you had a tank in your main, you could, like, bomb your SCVs. That's like the only thing it would ever do.
Oh, don't take those tanks out of the natural. Don't do this.
Oh, no. And the SCV's blocking too, sieging up in there. Oh my god, that one Zealot almost took out 3 tanks. But yeah, that CC, I don't think it's going to make it. Oh, maybe with repair.
Nope.
Oh, no, I tried to go to the unit
feels
panel.
good.
Yeah, it's dead. Yeah,
unfortunate. Feels pretty good.
Protoss dominating this game. I think Terran's just about done here. I don't know what else he can do with this little ragtime army. Going to try and long distance mine. Actually, I don't think it's intentional. I think he just didn't recommand them. But yeah,
just every time I look back, I see Mercury Envy just making a giant round of Zealots, a giant round of Dragoons. Really just, even if it's not the most finesse units, like not like making a bunch of Arbiters, not going crazy, just still really working these gateways, keeping that unit advantage. And now up 70 supply with plenty of Nexuses all over the map that will eventually be pretty useful.
Eventually,
and Thunder's got to get the start.
I have to point out, yes.
Yeah. But still, Thunder has to get their 3rd base, so eventually useful sounds real good right now.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, Thunder blocked his own units in his base as well, so this defense at the 3rd is a token defense. If Protoss wanted to, he could attack there easily. Okay, finally starts with the CC. I mean, for any Terrans out there, like, this is the 3rd base you want. You do not want to be trying to take this one, so now you know this is the better option. +1 air weapons coming up for Protoss. I don't know if it's a mistake or if maybe he's planning on carrier later.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, Beacon, Stargate,
yeah.
Honestly, I like this. Like, I do this all the time. When you get late and you got plenty of money to spend anyway, if they're not making Goliaths, kill them for it.
For sure. Well, here's the thing. Like, you know, Protoss could attack in here, but it's risky, right? And you could always just throw your whole army away in a dumb attack, and, like, you know, then Terran's back in the game. But if you just sit here, wait for Terran to do whatever, and you're building up carriers, then it kind of eliminates that possibility. Okay, a lot of vultures fell here, and they are going to get a few goons for their trouble, but I don't think it was worth it given Terran's economic situation. Where's the turrets, man? You need turrets with this. Protoss can really abuse detection. Oh, but the vessel's coming out. Stasis?
Yeah, where it is, the stasis. There we go. Hit 4, but they're near the front, so not exactly what you're looking for here, but still, there's mobile detection at this point. This Protoss army is engaging with a lot more stuff, but it's very piecemeal. Only coming in with some at the front, but not the tanks. There's no mines, no vultures. Like, just not enough stuff.
Continue though. That's a nice stasis in the back there. I want to see one more on those tanks all the way over to the left. But yeah, he's going to cancel this CC, which honestly is all that really matters, even if it's an inefficient trade. That's all we have to do. And look at that. There's the other stasis. GG. Looks like Mercury going to take it. 2-1.
Which puts Toads at 9. Oh no, that means they're so close to ensuring that spot to get to the finals, trying to break that #1 seed curse, but still pretty good games we saw, a lot of interesting stuff, but that last series, definitely some strong tier 3 players to be scared of for next season. I had a good time watching everything.
Yeah, definitely. Some excellent games there. Players bringing some interesting strategies. And look, those last 3 games, I have to say, Terran, like, you know, just doing the same build every time, it does expose weaknesses, but at the same time, you can see how strong that push was in Game 2 just because he's practiced so much. And we've got to remember, in Tier 3, right? So for Tier 3, that's a very scary looking 2-base push. But yeah, so we still have some games left to cast in this match before we finish off the other semi-finals match as well. But as you say, DestrucToads only one set away from winning and progressing to the finals, and I guess we'll find out that in the next cast. Thanks for joining me, Set Zero.
Yeah, absolutely. When's the next time since you're bringing up that next cast?
It is 7 PM EDT tomorrow, same time, same people probably, right, Set Zero?
Absolutely.
Alright, we'll be crushing it. See you all then. Thanks for watching.